starting lineup of your favorite show. At producer, 5'11" from Blanchester, the Cow Killer, Casey McCollister. And comic engineer, standing at 4'8", the pride of the West Side, Elliot Rearing. And your host, weighing 150 pounds, soaking wet, from Hamilton, Ohio, Ace Fowler.
Well, hello and welcome. I'm not Trace Fowler. I do not weigh 150 pounds soaking wet, and I am not the host of this show, but it is Off the Bench presented by United Dairy Farmers. I think we're kind of formulating a plan of what the future of this show is, which, by the way, thank you to you guys to watch this show every day, because I feel like we mix up what this show is about every 3 months. It's like the seasons here in Ohio. They just come and go. We got a good show for you today. The Reds back on top. Are they all the way back? First of 12. First of 12. We're going to talk about the NFL rule changes. Cincinnati Bengals had some news. And then we're going to end up the show talking about some win totals. Now that we know the schedule is out, now that we know what over-unders are, it's going to be a fun show. As always, it's not just me in the room. We got the producers over on the right side of the room, Casey McCollister, Elliot Rearing. Elliot Rearing went out and recorded a fun little segment that is going to air sometime soon.
Yeah, hopefully. The goal is by Thursday, and if not, definitely Friday. But yeah, so I went out in the streets and started talking to some people outside of Great American Ballpark. And I asked them, hey, should David Bell be fired? And then I asked them a bunch of other silly questions, and I thought we got some good answers. And hopefully you guys get to see that real soon. It was very fun. Me, Casey, Jeremiah went out there. And it was one of the more fun days of work I've had. So shout out to Casey. Also, this morning I woke up, very big thunderstorms around my house, and I was very scared that my car was not going to turn on. It struggled right as soon as I got in. Good news is, turned right on. I am going to take it into the shop tomorrow. It does appear the missing piece that I tweeted out last week. I lost a piece of my car.
Figured out what it was?
No, we still don't know what it was, but the muffler seems to be hanging pretty low to the ground.
Oh, so it was probably just the bolt that
it was probably a bolt.
That held it up. That's good then. That's easy. That's an easy fix. You talked about the thunderstorms. So I have 2 dogs, very big dogs. One is a Great Pyrenees Golden Mix. He's 140 pounds. He does not like thunderstorms. When I bought the dog, whatever you want to say, I did not realize that every time it rained, I would have to cuddle a 140-pound polar bear for the rest of my life, his life, whichever one of us dies first. But yeah, that's what I woke up to, a 140-pound bear just laying on top of me, and I'm like, what the heck, rookie? Jacob Tissett, you did not go to 3-2-1 night last night, but they won without you.
They did, and I'm second-guessing going tonight now, but I think I'm going to be down there tonight, keep the good vibes going.
Well, you don't have to worry about them losing because it's the first of 12. Jimmy Collins?
How are we?
Good. Look at you rocking a Bengals hat.
I am rocking a Bengals hat today.
Now,
real quick, the pro move, we got to get that mic up to your level of the mouth there to make you more comfortable. Because for a long time, it's me sitting in that chair, and I'm like 5'7". So you're much taller than I am. So
we'll do this live.
We'll do it live. The radio listeners, just imagine Reed going over to fix this mic for our guy, so he doesn't have to keep bending over his neck like that. Like a giraffe.
90-degree bend in that back. It can't feel great.
Is this better?
There you go. Is it better for you?
Oh, it's better
I just
for me.
need you to have that confidence in you.
Yeah,
Because when you're going like that, like a giraffe going down to eat out of a bush, that's what it looked like over here. But now we're good. Your Tigers lost, and we'll talk about it in the headlines. But your Tigers lost, and you tweet about it how the season was over.
They lost again. Yeah, they did.
Damn.
They did.
It's been just we talked to a Tigers fan.
Do you cancel the season frequently like Elliot?
Yes. Yeah, I have a bit of an issue of checking the standings a little bit too early, and then
it is May.
Yeah, it is May. It is only May. But last night they looked horrible again. They got blown out by the Royals, which
does sound like the season's dead.
Tough.
Then does sound like the season.
The Royals are good this year. To be fair, they can hit.
Good.
They can hit. We can't. But
you got obliterated by them, so it's
we did.
What can really happen?
But then
Reds won. Elliot's riding high.
But then
it's a Morgan here when the Reds lose, and then they win one game, get 3 hits, and Elliot's like, "Let's rock and roll, baby. Let's rock and roll." Speaking of Elliot, this is how we start off every show. with the headlines. The headlines here
Yes.
on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. Ellie De La Rue, take us through these headlines.
The Reds, we mentioned it, but the Cincinnati Redlegs are all the way
Let's go.
back.
Season's back on.
This is what we
Season's
needed.
back on.
It was an offensive explosion by the Cincinnati Reds last night. They beat the Padres 2-0. 2-0. Shout out to Casey and soccer. 2-0.
Shout out to Jacob.
Oh,
On our predictions yesterday, he said 2-1.
Really?
Legs
I
win.
did.
So he was close.
I said they'd lose 1-0. I got half of it right. So all right. So
Essentially,
they
yeah.
had 3 hits, and they had 3 hits in their win. 2 of those hits were by Ellie De La Cruz. If that should tell you where this team is. Andrew Abbott, though, he went 7 innings, giving up only 4 hits and obviously 0 runs. His ERA drops to 2.68.
Heck yeah.
That's our guy. Fernando
All-star.
All-star, Andrew Abbott. Fernando Cruz and Alexis Diaz, they finished off the game with 2 combined innings and 3 combined strikeouts. Shout out to those 2 guys. It started off rough in the 9th. I got a little nervous when Alexis Diaz just walks everybody, but that's okay. Double play to get out of it. Tonight, the Reds are back at it with Nick Martinez on the bump, and he enters play with a 4.23 ERA. He's going up against Michael King, who comes in tonight rocking a 4.31 ERA. I'm surprised they're not doing the opener move again today. I thought they'd do the opener and Martinez would come in like the 3rd inning, but to each their own. Martinez is gonna at least start this game, go 4 or 5 innings.
It's a revenge game for Nick Martinez.
It
He's
is.
a former San Diego father.
Father? Was that Padre?
Do you need to know Spanish?
Well, I didn't take Spanish.
There you go.
I took
Padre
I took
is Spanish for father.
I took the world's language, German, and that's Vater.
They tried to make it the world's language, failed twice.
Jake Fraley, bad news. There is some bad news. Jake Fraley did leave the game early after getting hit by a pitch. The X-rays came back negative. They came back negative for a fracture, so I guess if that means anything, I still don't believe any of those X-rays that we get anymore, but to each their own. It came back negative for a fracture.
We know in Cincinnati how hard it is to grow back the wrist bone.
Yeah.
it's
So
tough.
we don't want any more of that.
Correct.
Right.
David Bell got very upset with this. I sent a couple clips to Casey, if that's okay. And I should have sent 2. There was the one video of him actually throwing the chair, which I thought was very good. You want our manager to show emotion, and by golly, David Bell showed a lot of emotion last night. You also had David Bell in the post-game press conference talking about how frustrating it is to watch. So this is David Bell post-game.
We've had a lot of guys hit. We've had a lot of guys hit in the hand. And that's where that came from. I just don't like to see our guys get hit. I don't like it messes with their career. Not so much about the game, which it does affect the game. Affects our team, but mostly it affects these individuals that are trying to stay healthy and stay on the field. So it wasn't directed at any team or any pitcher or anything like that. It's just it was all about just we've had a lot. It's happened a lot. I've never seen anything like it. So at some point, enough's enough. There's not a whole lot I can do. So but that's where it came from.
It was very funny to see him throw the chair, get down to the dugout, and just start throwing stuff. That's what you want. That's what you guys asked for. You wanted somebody who cares. Clearly, the frustration is boiling. He knows what's happening with the club. He knows all the injuries that are occurring and how it's absolutely unprecedented, how every single player that seemingly comes up in a Reds uniform, they all get hit by a pitch right in the knuckles. And it's just the worst place. It literally couldn't get more unlucky for this team.
When are the Cincinnati Reds going to have a professional manager? Because that was unprofessional what he did last night.
Yeah, you thought so?
Yeah,
much
like unprofessional. We need a guy in there that's just going to conduct business professionally, and that's not what I'm seeing from David Bell.
Yeah, people in the chat are calling for a goon. Should David Bell bring in a guy, maybe like Bubba Thompson? He can come in like the 6th inning after his guys have all been hit by pitches in the knuckles. Bubba can then get on the mound, and he can just throw 68-mile-per-hour lob balls at somebody's head.
We tried that last year with Ricky Karcher, and he just got a win. So maybe that'll work.
World Series champion Bubba Thompson.
Poor Bubba. Sent directly down to AA. Moving on. Around the league, the Guardians, they win 76 over the Mets. The Brewers, they beat the Marlins 7-5. Pirates walked off the Giants in extra
That was a
innings,
crazy game.
winning 7-6. O'Neal Cruz hit 3 balls over 115 miles an hour. That is the first in StatCast era. Cat's pretty good.
He's very, very good. We have two 6'6" cruise shortstops in the National League Central, and they are both studs. Both studs.
This was an interesting stat I found. The Phillies beat the Rangers 5-2. Ranger Suarez went 7 innings, giving up 5 hits, striking out 10. Suarez is 9-0 on the season.
Unbelievable.
He's already got 9 wins.
Yeah. He's pitched in 10 games, 9 decisions, all wins.
That's crazy.
He is 9-0 with a 1.36 ERA.
That's crazy.
So shout out to Ranger Suarez and the Phillies. The Twins, they shut out the Nationals 10-0. Byron Buxton hit a couple of home runs.
I'm a Byron Buxton believer.
Ooh, when is he gonna
play a full season?
When's his season gonna be shut down this year? That does end a 7-game losing streak by the Twins. The Twins had, I think, a 10-game winning streak earlier on. They just finished a 7-game losing streak yesterday. The Red Sox, they passed the Rays 5-2. They get past the Rays, Rafael Devers failed to hit a home run for the first time in 7 games yesterday. He had hit one in what is that, 6 straight games? Outrageous.
Is he playing first base yet, or is he still playing the hot corner? Anyone know that?
I don't know.
Because
I saw he was still playing third. He's one of the worst gloves.
I was gonna say he's the definition of. I mean, he hits 330, so you just throw him out there. Like he'll figure it out. He'll be worth the wait.
Jarren Duran homered and stole home in that game. Mariners, they win 6-3 over the Yankees. White Sox shut out the Blue Jays 5-0.
Shout out the White Sox.
Shout out the White Sox. The Cubs, they walked off the Braves in the bottom of the 10th inning. Cubs win 4-3. Thoughts on that one?
I did not watch the final play.
Oh,
I stayed up.
Fake fan.
I stayed
This
up
is what
the
we're talking about,
entire
fake
game.
fans.
I stayed up the entire game, and I'm getting so tired. My wife goes to bed at like the eighth, and I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, I want to stay up. This is a good game. And I sat there and watched, and I remember vividly Nico Horner coming up to bat in the 10th.
Really?
With the game on the line. And I lay down on my couch, and then I don't know how much time passed, but they were in the post-game show. And it said Cubs win. So I literally I had one batter left, and I couldn't make it. Could not make it.
Are you more of a Xavier fan or a Cubs fan?
Dallas Stars.
Go Stars.
Our Stars, Jimmy.
We just talked about it with Jimmy, but the Royals dismantled the Tigers 10-3. Real sad to see the city of Detroit losing their game. The Astros, they beat the Angels 6-5. The Athletics came back to beat the Rockies last night 5-4, and the Diamondbacks crushed the Dodgers 7-3. Those are your baseball headlines, but we have an NBA headline.
Ooh.
The Celtics, they beat the Pacers 133-128 in overtime. Jaylen Brown's clutch 3 forced overtime, and Jason Tatum took over from there. Halliburton scored 25 points, adding 10 assists. Siakam scored 24 points, adding 12 boards and 7 assists. Miles Turner, he scored 23 points, adding 10 boards. Pretty good outing from the Pacers offensively. Tatum dropped 36 points and 12 boards. Drew Holiday, 28 points. Jaylen Brown, 26 points. And tonight, the Mavericks, they head to Minnesota to take on the T-Wolves in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Tip-off 8:30. And the T-Wolves are 4.5-point favorites. NFL news, as we wind down the headlines here. NFL news. Jesse Bates was asked about his old teammate T. Higgins' contract situation in Cincinnati. Quote, I've been through that process, through the franchise tag, and I let it weigh on me a little bit more than I should have. And it affected my play and how I was living my day-to-day life. So my thing for T is just, work on your craft. It don't matter. If this is the contract year, I say it every time, every year is a contract year. You should go out there and ball out and train like this is one of your last years to play.
What a beautiful quote from Jesse Bates.
That is a beautiful quote.
Adding context in there. Oh, the Bengals, they never do anything right by their players. Jesse Bates just says, hey, just be you. Just be you as a player. Don't let it weigh on you. And that's excellent.
Sounds like a great leader.
Sounds like he probably is. Captain Bates. I'm sure he'll lead the Falcons to a 6-11 season.
Maybe they'll switch quarterbacks, though. Titans, Tyler Boyd. Listen, he says the team's playbook in Tennessee is pretty much the same exact playbook to him as it was with the Bengals. So
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
Callahan appears to be just running up the same things. We have also the Bengals are spending between $100 and $120 million on renovations and beautification projects to Paycor Stadium to help that dump look a little bit better. So shout out to Paycor, shout out to the Bengals. And finally, Casey, I sent you this video. It is a home run clip of from the Louisville Bats game last night. Peyton Burdick Peyton Burdick from the Bats hit a 500-foot home run. It banged off the scoreboard in center field. He now holds the record for the longest home run recorded in Louisville Slugger Field history. And this was the bomb yesterday.
This ball had a chance.
This ball did have a chance.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Hits off the back bottom of that scoreboard,
Against the
ricochets
Mud
down.
Hens?
Officially
This is
500, right?
500.
Against your Mud Hens.
Against my Mud Hens.
You know, it's...
Everyone's favorite Mud Hens.
I have been to that stadium. You guys ever been to a game down in Louisville?
Oh, yeah.
To their stadium. They had one of the wildest promotions I've ever been a part of. I was down there for a bachelor party, and the promotion was $1 flight of bourbon.
Really?
4 shots of bourbon for $1.
$1?
For $1. That's not safe. That was not safe, and we got our fair share.
Did you have fun?
I'm sure I did.
I'm sure you
I'm
did.
sure Reed had fun.
I've been to the Mud Hen Stadium. Never been to Louisville.
There was
though.
a stretch in there where the Bats were a lot more fun than the Reds, so I went to a couple Bats
That's
games.
fair.
Looks like they're more fun last night.
Hitting
too.
500 foot home.
Bro, before we end it, the Bengals have announced their Ring of Honor game. It will be on Monday Night Football against the Washington Commanders.
Sent you the nominee list as well.
The nominee list. Casey might have to help me out here. Is this Corey Dillon? Corey Dillon and Lamar Parrish?
Scroll
I
down.
have the list right here. If you'd
Say
like
it,
me
read
to
it,
the
please.
names. Jim Breach, James Brooks, Chris Collinsworth, Corey Dillon, David Fulcher, Tim Crumry, Dave Lapham, Max Montoya, Lamar Parrish, Bob Trumpy, and Reggie Williams.
There's a lot of good names. A
Those
lot
are
of
the
good
people
names.
you can vote for. The 2 people I voted for last year are still on the list: Bob Trumpy and Corey Dillon. I
Well,
think
those are both shoo-ins at some point. Chris Collinsworth, a
Absolutely.
shoo-in at some point.
Dave
Parrish,
Lapham as well, in my opinion.
yeah,
Yeah.
Parrish and Lapham probably
Lapham
going to
needs
get in
to-
at some point.
Lapham needs to be
Shout
in
out to the Bengals for finally having some way to honor its past players. Everyone always
Yeah.
talked about how the Bengals have no one in the NFL Hall of Fame. It's like, yeah, we had no one in the Bengals Hall of Fame because we didn't have the
Yeah.
Bengals. It's hard to honor players nationally when you can't even honor them in their own city. So shout out to the Bengals, not only for that, but for continuing to renovate Paycor Stadium. When we get back, and we'll talk about the Bengals later in the show, but when we get back, we're going to talk about the Reds' historic win, and it's historic because it's the first of 12. That and more when we come back on 1410 Wing AM. And we are back here on Off the Bench presented by United Dairy Farmers. I think it's up to 3-2. 3-2 on that.
That's correct.
3-2
3-2.
all time on that series between you two. But the Reds won 2-0. 2-0 on the backs of a great performance by Andrew Abbott on some early runs. And I think we saw a lot of things. Listen, as much as you don't want to overreact about a bad start, you don't want to overreact about. But we saw some nice things yesterday, no? No, we saw a good start from Andrew Abbott. We saw Fernando Cruz and Alexis Diaz. We saw a little passion from David Bell. It seemed like the stars aligned for everything that the Reds have been talking about in recent weeks.
Future World Series winner and maybe future World Series MVP winner Jacob Hurtubise was leadoff yesterday. He played well.
Amazing at bat.
What?
First at bat was just beautiful.
It was. So listen, the guy can work at bats. That's why he's in the leadoff position. I think he takes the honor of the 15th guy to try at leadoff position this year. But we'll just keep changing it up. I like it. Jacob Hurtubise, again, he had a walk yesterday, so I do have to shout out him. The at-bats look a lot better than Will Benson's at-bats as of this moment. So 100% the right decision by our boy David Bell. All-star manager David Bell. Ellie De La Cruz looked great. He's the only guy that produces offensively, so when he produces offensively, usually the Reds show up and win. That's just how it's been the past, several month and a half. Other than that, yeah, the offense, I'm not going to sit here and say they look good because they didn't. Andrew Abbott is becoming a guy that hopefully if he continues this pace, if he doesn't run out of steam, doesn't run out of gas, if he's able to give me, 25 starts this year, I'm going to be happy. I can't argue. I can't complain with 7 innings of shutout baseball, 2 strikeouts.
On a good, if everything goes right for the Reds, where does Abbott sit? He's a 4. Like, if he's your 4, is that a great team?
I think
Is that a great?
That's a
because
great
I
team.
would certainly expect Rhett Lauder to be a little bit better. So I
Okay.
think the vision down the line is Hunter Green and Ladola 1-2, maybe 1A, 1B, and then Rhett Lauder at your 3 and Abbott at your 4.
I will say it is interesting you bring that up because one of the guys that we thought could make an impact this year was Connor Phillips. Connor Phillips, I don't know if you've seen his ERA. It's over 9. He's got a 9 ERA down in the minors. Last night he walked 5 batters. It's been bad. It's been legitimately bad. So having Andrew Abbott up here performing like this with a sub-3 ERA at the end of May, absolutely fantastic. And that's obviously not even including what Nick Lodolo has done, what Hunter Green has done, Frankie has done. Graham Ashcraft is a decent 5. I'm not going to complain about Graham Ashcraft. He's going to come in. He's going to give you
hard.
5. He's going to pitch hard.
Good stuff.
Great stuff. He's going to give you like 5 2/3 innings. He's not going to stay in the game long, but he's going to throw a lot of pitches and hopefully get a decent amount of outs in those pitches. But yeah, I think the Red starting rotation right now is at the dream. It's pretty close to what we dreamed it could be. Outside of the injury to Nick Lodolo, we're about one more guy away from. I'm saying this rotation is top 10 in baseball. Yeah.
Listen, you've got a lot of moving pieces that if one falters, you've got backup plans and good backup, like not just sending some guy up from AAA, like good MLB arms. We saw good stuff from the setup man and the closer last night, Fernando Cruz, after a bad couple outings, struck out 2 in his inning of work.
2 strikeouts. Yeah, he looked a lot better. Had a lot more control of the ball there, and then Alexis Diaz came in to close it out and looked like he was going to have a Alexis Diaz outing we've come to expect. He walked the first batter with 4 of the least competitive pitches I've ever seen, probably a full body length outside of the strike zone. And then he figures out a way to get a double play and get out of the game. It reminded me a lot of his outings last year when he would load the bases or do whatever to make it as interesting as possible and then just strike out 2 guys and get out of it. Yeah, exactly.
Who wants an easy, breezy, beautiful 9th inning? Let's make it interesting.
Yeah, right.
By the way, Fernando Cruz did get those first 2 outs again, like he always does, and then gave up a hit. I thought that was going to get a little shady. But, again, they got through it. No problems. You can't complain about a win. They won 2-0. You shut out the Padres. I will say this. If that's what it's going to take to win games, perfection from the pitching staff, legitimate perfection, still probably not the team that we think it is.
3 hits.
3 hits is bad.
It's not good.
It's bad. And by the way, 2 of the hits are from the one player offensively that can hit.
That does anything.
Yeah. So, we've got one good offensive player right now, one.
And you lose Jake. I mean, I know X-rays were negative, but X-rays were negative for TJ Friedel as well the first time we heard about him. So you lose Jake Fraley for a serious period of time, and he's your 3rd best hitter, and he's not even qualified yet at bats-wise. So the lineup's going to get even a little worse, I think, on a daily basis.
India got a little banged up too yesterday, and say whatever you want about India. It's just it's absolutely crazy, and I tweeted this yesterday. And Reed kind of poked fun at it earlier on in the season, and I don't know if you – I think you've changed your tune on it. The amount of injuries that this team has dealt with, every team deals with injuries. The Brewers have a ton of injuries to their staff, their pitching staff. The amount of injuries to key players on this Reds team, outstanding, preposterous, outrageous. Every word you can think of is how you can describe the unlucky factor that the Reds have suffered this year. And we can sit here and blame David Bell, and David Bell the worst part is David Bell knows it. David Bell's in the clubhouse like, we just lose another guy. Now I have to bring Bubba Thompson back up from the Cincinnati Steam and have him contribute in the outfield again. And he knows that. He's slamming things around because he's pissed.
And he has to go in front of the media and act like Bubba Thompson's going to help the team win.
Correct. And that's the part where you criticize David Bell in those post-game press conferences, and I get it. It's nobody wants to hear a monotone guy say, well, we're really good. We're going to figure it out eventually. Nobody wants to hear that. But it's coach speak. His one job, the biggest job he has, I'd argue, is to keep the vibes, keep the spark in this team per se, right? You want to fire up the boys. You can't do that if you're constantly killing your guys. And obviously, there's a lot of guys you can pick on for the first 40-something games of this season. There's a lot of guys he could go up there and he could say, yeah, Will Benson's looked terrible for the first half of this season, first quarter of this season. Alexis Diaz has been trash since last year. He can go up and say that, then you lose the locker room, with the clubhouse, the locker room and clubhouse thing. I say the other word every time. But my point being, none of these injuries are David Bell's fault. These injuries is just a stretch of bad luck that's unprecedented. I haven't seen anything like it.
I legitimately wonder if there's a team in the entire MLB that could withstand season-ending, couple-month-long injuries to 5 of your 9 projected everyday players. Like, it's just not feasible to have that much MLB talent to replace that.
Two things can be true, right? Like every time that Reds fans complain about all the injuries, which are fair gripes, the detractors, guys like me, guys that like to poke fun at Reds fans, will be like, everyone has injuries. And that's true. The Dodgers, as Tom put a couple days ago, the Dodgers have been without their starting rotation through the entirety of this year. My Chicago Cubs have not had their starting 9 play in over a month, and I think 4 out of the 5 guys have seen, 5 of the 9 guys have seen some time on the IL. These are all true, but at the same point, it's not to the degree that the Reds have. And we talked about this, they're already dealing against a stacked deck. Because they don't have the money to consistently go and get big talent, they've got to do it kind of on a shoestring. They've got to do it with a more depleted roster. And when you see the frustrations are bleeding from the fan base to the manager, what's going through David Bell's head? Jake Fraley gets hit, and he's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Again? And that's just pure frustration. He said it in the talk. It's not. It's unfathomable what the Reds are going through.
And here's the crazy part. Like, yes, every team suffers injuries. Jonathan India was hurt, missed several games because he was stretching during warm-ups and a foul ball hit him. Now, whether or not you want to say that was the official cause of the injury, that's what happened. TJ Friedel comes back from being injured and immediately gets injured from a hit pitch. Frankie Montas misses, I think, 2 starts, 1 start, because of a comebacker. Straight back at him. Jake Fraley last night. CES. It's the same thing.
Nearly India last night sliding into home.
India sliding into home.
Captain India coming
America.
back out on a limp.
That's you know what? It's a leader.
When you think of captains in baseball, you think of 3 guys. Derek Jeter,
Yep.
David Wright, and Captain Jonathan India. Shout out to him coming back out there. I will give Jonathan India credit because he's been banged up a couple times and has gone back out. I think the Phillies series, right? Didn't he take an injury and came back out on the injury?
Yeah, there's been a couple. India always shows up injured. Listen, he's banged up. He's ready to roll though. There's no injury that's going to stop him
I'll
from
never
hitting
knock
220.
his want to and his willingness to try. I'll just knock his hitting and fielding.
And maybe sometimes his base running.
And a little bit of that, yeah.
But yeah, last night, good win, good start. I don't know what your thoughts on that, Reed, are of Nick Martinez. He's not been good as a starting pitcher. Mm-hmm. The last time he was the starter, whatever you want to call him, they used an opener for it. Now, granted, they used that because it was Brent Suter facing 2 out of 3 lefties out of the first 3 batters with the Dodgers. But for me, Nick Martinez starting tonight, I would have preferred to wait. I would have preferred to have him come in the 2nd inning, the 3rd inning. And I don't know if it's just a comfort thing, a feel thing, but you see the Rays do this all the time, and it's something that has worked. It's had success in Major League Baseball, and I would have used it tonight. Now, saying all that, I think Nick Martinez has shown this season that he's a more than capable pitcher, and if there was anybody to replace Nick Lodolo, I'd rather it be him as of this very second. So he can give me 5 good innings.
His ERA is a big difference between starting and relieving. His ERA relieving is down in the 1s.
Yeah.
So obviously that's a big thing. But you also have to look at when those games were. He switched to the bullpen after starting at the beginning of the year. So it could have just been a slow start to the year.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see him in the starting role show a lot more similarity to the relieving role that he's just kind of found more comfort in.
We'll talk about Nick Martinez when we come back from break. You're listening and watching on YouTube here on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers on 1410 Wing AM. All right, we are back here on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. Thank you for listening. And Dayton, thank you for watching on YouTube. If you are a listener in Dayton, feel free to join the chat. It's always popping here. In the morning, we go live on YouTube from 10 a.m. to 12 p. And that'll continue from here on out. We talked about Nick Martinez and the reliever versus the starter role. Here's the thing about Nick Martinez, and he's floated between these roles throughout his entire career. When he played for the Padres last year, he's kind of a swing guy. You get multiple innings out of him from the pen. He was on Team USA last year in the World Baseball Classic. And then you can also start him, and that was kind of his role. You knew you're going to get 100-plus innings out of him regardless of his role. He has yet to go beyond 5 innings, but just 1 time this year, and that's kind of his thing, right? Regardless of how well he pitches, you're not going to expect Nick Martinez to go 7 innings like Andrew Abbott did last night. you're going to expect him, hey, can you get 5 innings out of him? Can we get 6 innings at the max out of you? So I'm absolutely with you. Why not give him an opener? The thing about the opener that not enough people talk about, and it's kind of the reason that teams do it, is the opposing manager gets to pick who goes up to the plate one time in the game.
Yep.
The most runs that are scored throughout the history of baseball, if you look at it year by year by year by year, are coming from the first inning. So why not, hey, we're gonna get these guys, we're gonna tell one of our relief pitchers, hey, you got to get 1 inning against their best bats, and then Nick Martinez take us to the 6th inning. I'm absolutely on board with that. I'm absolutely on board with that.
I don't know why. Again, it worked so well last time. I don't know why you wouldn't do it this time. But it might be because we got guys tired, and I don't know who you'd throw out. But last night, again, when you have Andrew Abbott and Hunter Green going 7 innings on a consistent basis, playing near perfection, it gives the bullpen a break, and it helps for situations like this where it gives you the option to use an opener. Now, last night we talked about it, and I wanted to show the clip because, it's hilarious. This is what happens when the entire team gets injured, and this is where the fan base is like, we want emotion out of David Bell. We want emotion. Why doesn't this guy show any emotion? He doesn't care. Is this somebody who doesn't care?
I think he broke 2 chairs.
I don't know how many chairs.
I see. Well, watch. What? So there's something white that flies right here. So that's white, and then he's got a silver and black one.
He does have 2
there.
chairs, yeah.
So he breaks 2 chairs.
Wow.
My question is, does he have to refund the Castellinis for that?
Oh,
does that come out of
100%.
Does that come out of his pay?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Or does that come out of next year in the free agency? He's like, hey, can you get me another bat? And they're like, can you get us another chair?
100% he has to repay him. The good news for him is that they definitely went to like Lowe's and found the 2 cheapest chairs they could find and threw them on in the clubhouse.
Home Depot, not Lowe's. Lowe's is where you get the good chairs.
No, Lowe's is where you get the bad chairs.
Lowe's is where you get the good ones.
Not quite. By the way, and for those of you who don't know, there's an ongoing debate between Chatterbox supporter Drew Garrison and Reed debating on which is the superior home goods shopping store around the house. Home improvement store. Lowe's or Home Depot?
I'm a proud Depot man.
Depot,
Proud
Jimmy?
Depot.
Home Depot or Lowe's?
Depot.
I'm also Home Depot. Casey?
Depot.
Can I ask a question
Stuff.
about all you guys Home Depot guys?
Yeah.
Is the Home Depot closer than your local Lowe's? Or are you going out of your way to go to the Home Depot?
I actually pass a Lowe's on the way to
I
Home
pass a
Depot.
Lowe's as well.
So you are preferring to go to Home Depot. Because here, I live on the west side of Hamilton. We have a Lowe's on the west side.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to Bridgewater, which is 5 minutes further, you can go to Home Depot. But I prefer to go to Lowe's just because it's closer.
Yeah.
I support College Game Day.
Yeah.
That's right. So do I.
And they have a good song.
They do
Home,
have a good
Home
song.
Depot
Home Depot
has
does
good
have a good
rentals.
song.
Has good rental. Yeah, the Zach Bryan. I'm a big Zach Bryan fan. He used to come out on stage to the Home Depot song, which I thought was just hilarious. Like
great.
it was just that was his on-stage song.
And real quick, before we get back to serious sports discussion, who has the best work truck? Jacob, Drew, or Reed?
Ooh. I
Has-
don't know.
has
Who's
you-
pulling up the rear on that one?
Well, yeah. Has your truck ever touched mud?
Oh yeah.
I don't
Balloon
think
Town.
yeah.
Balloon Town.
They
Balloon
put in
Town.
some
It
hard
worked
work.
pretty
You
good on
told
Balloon
me anything with
Town.
that?
I remember
I
that.
towed 2 couches moving out of my apartment in Alabama 2 weeks ago. So now the answer is yes.
You actually pulled a trailer.
There was
with
a trailer, yeah.
With
Hitch
heck
and
yeah.
everything.
But that was the first time.
First time.
That was the first. I pulled one time. I with my Silverado. It's a 1500. It's about 15 years old. If you guys don't know, Chevy set out to make the greatest car ever in 2010, and they did that with the Silverado 1500. They perfected transportation. One time I get off of work. We were doing a high school football game, and our video board needed to be pulled away from the brewery right around the corner here. And I didn't have a 250 or a 350 that are made for pulling the video board. I pulled that video board 10,000 pounds with my little truck, and my truck was heaving. It was struggling, and I think I messed up my brakes because I had to change my brakes like a month later. They weren't working, so the truck wasn't made for pulling 10,000 pounds, but it is a work truck, more of a work truck than Drew Garrison's little Ram or Jacob's little F-150 over there.
That's right. You know who else drives a work truck? David Bell. You know why?
Because he's ready to go.
He's going to work.
Because he's going to work every single night, constructing a lineup that's able to be as successful as they were last night. 3 big hits, and that's David Bell.
And that's
That
'cause
win
the
is
vibes
on
in the
David
leadoff
Bell.
spot.
What was that?
The vibes in the leadoff spot got those 3 hits.
Jacob and Jimmy both texted me individually yesterday. You're not gonna believe this. Jacob Hurtubise is now your leadoff hitter. And look, I'm not gonna bash Hurtubise. I know Kirby and Craig, they're getting paid off by Hurtubise, I think, in some way. But I like
What's
him.
with the Kirby and Craig strays?
Well, because they stray back, so I'm straying back at them. That's what we do here.
Who
Who
They're
shot
strays.
first? Who shot first at Concord?
They did. Moving on. Hurtubise put up some good at bats. I'll give credit to Jacob here, and if he's able to do that consistently at the leadoff spot, I'll gladly take him. I thought it was going to be Jonathan India through the first 5 games of this season. Nope. Will Benson. I would say I was never comfortable with him in the leadoff spot. That didn't work. So we're just going to keep trying things until they work. Something's got to work. I'm tired of this team not working. I know I've gone through the lineup so many times. I've named all the players. Roster-wise, it's not a very good team. You all know this. Everybody knows this. You got a lot of AAA players here. And that includes, by the way, Nick Martini, who got called up yesterday. We didn't even mention that. Martini brought up, Connor Capel sent down. Connor Capel, did he get an at-bat? 1 at-bat, maybe?
Connor Cable did not get a fair shake.
Yeah, I would.
And we were DHing Mike Ford every day for his entire stint up here. I don't understand what happened with Connor Cable, because when he came up, there was some, I don't want to say excitement, but there was some expectation that he'd be a decent DH option and outfield bat, and he didn't even get. I'm trying to figure out how many plate appearances he got, but it couldn't have been that many.
Did he get 1? I think he got legit 1.
Connor
one or
Capel,
2.
Connor Capel
he played
got
in 1 game.
8 at-bats,
8
8
at-bats.
plate appearances, had 2 hits, scored a run. He got caught stealing. Maybe he just wasn't capable.
I mean, that was horrible. That was horrible. But yeah, look, if Nick Martini can give me some sort of home run every once a week, I'll be happy with Nick Martini. But if he's unable to meet those requirements, I don't understand sending Connor Capel down without really giving him a fair shot. But to each their own. That's Nick Kroll. That's get crawled. But yeah, if we can win this series, if we can win tonight on Nick Martinez night, revenge game, as Reed said, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say they can beat the Dodgers. Give me some positive momentum as we head into the weekend. That's all I want. If we lose today and lose tomorrow, I'm going to be a sad puppy.
Is it time to start talking about a David Bell extension to the extension he got last year based off of his
The
performance?
1 win last night?
The 1 win last
If
night.
he wins
And
12
the
games
2
in a row,
broken
do you
chairs.
add 2 more years?
Yes. Yes.
Obviously.
And
It would be a consistent thing then.
if they win 12 games in a row. When they win 12 games in a row. We're coming up on that.
How many chairs does he have to break to get another extension? 7?
Well,
How many chairs does he have to break till he's done at the end of this year with no more money guaranteed?
the problem is,
Eat into that contract.
I was going to say, every chair is a debt paid to the Castellinis.
Yeah, shout out to the Castellinis. 3-2-1 night's good. That's the one good thing they've done.
Mark in the park
18,000.
tonight.
18,000 fans.
Was that right last night?
18,000. So they need, what we say, 42?
Yeah.
We said 42, so they're well on their way. I think we all know that Thursday's game's not going to be well attended.
Can I say something though?
Because everyone's going to be watching with us.
Big Pimpin'.
That's right.
True.
Thursday, watch along party here at
That's
C-Box.
That's right.
I will say this. Casey and I were going up to people yesterday. There were a lot of fans not wearing Reds gear that we interviewed.
San Diego travels well, is what you're
Well,
telling me.
no, it wasn't
It's
even
not
San
just San
Diego.
Diego.
Reds
There
fans
were-
that were sad.
There were Athletics fans there.
no.
There were
Mets
Cubs.
They got
fans.
Mason Miller.
There were Cubs fans there.
Well,
Was
they're
there
from
any
Mason.
Cell
They're
shirts?
from Mason.
We interviewed a Mets fan. What was that?
Was the Ace fan wearing a Cell shirt?
A what?
Sell.
Cell?
Oh, no, he was not.
Sacramento Aces.
No, none of that. I think they're just over it. They've given up. But yeah, so look, if the Reds can draw some fans, get some excitement back in the city for this Dodgers series, maybe this starts what Reed is proclaiming to be, Michael Ackley, tally it, another 12-game winning streak.
I think it is.
Do we think that David Bell was pulling his best Bob Knight yesterday by abusing chairs? Do you think that he was trying to will this team to victory by
Yes.
he said, "Hey, Bob Knight's one of the GOATs.
Yeah.
I want to be the GOAT." And you just got to mirror what they're doing there.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't go to the full extent of what Bob Knight did. But listen, maybe that's what they need. Maybe that's what they need. Just a Bob Knight assault. But that's okay.
Little Bob Knight assault to Jonathan. Well, they can't do that because our players are already injured. What if you get that? What if you get that roster move? So and so sitting down with a black eye.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate David Bell last night. It was fun to see him care, openly and visibly care. And that's what this fan base is calling for. I did see a lot of the fan base last night saying that's fake emotion. He was playing that up for the
Clearly
cameras.
What do you want?
Clearly
What do you
fake
want?
emotion.
What's going to make you happy? Everyone that's banging the table
That's
with
what I'm
that
saying.
fake emotion, they don't want him throwing chairs. 2 days ago, you were mad that he was being monotone in the dugout and not firing up the team. What do you want?
Well, they want him to not be monotone, but they want him to not be too loud. They want him to show emotion, but the right emotion.
And win.
They want the team to be real good, and all the injuries that aren't David Bell's fault, those are David Bell's fault. That's what they want. That's what they want to blame.
You know who the real winner of last night's game was?
The friends we made along the way.
Jacob Hurtubise.
Close. The Castellinis, because the game was only 2 hours and 10 minutes long. So 3-2-1 night, the 20,000 fans,
Yeah.
they didn't get to enjoy it too
You
much.
get about an hour 45 in there.
Right.
It was hot yesterday
They
too.
did bump it up to 16-ounce beers this year. They had
Really?
They had tall boys at the 3-2-1
No
stand.
way.
Oh yeah. Exciting news. Exciting news. Reds Tuesday next week.
Next week is
Still in
Reds.
town.
So you're telling me a tenner? You're telling me a tenner can get me 32 ounces of a premium craft beer, and by craft beer I mean Anheuser-Busch products.
Oh, yeah.
And then two glizzies.
Brother, let me tell you about those fiber optics tickets. $11, $9 concessions voucher, $2 ticket, 3 free beers.
You guys got plans next Tuesday?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We're probably gonna have to go. Casey and I are gonna go down anyway, so it's probably gonna be that night.
Let's do it.
Jacob,
Why
Casey,
not?
and I. Let's
do it.
let's go down and have ourselves a night.
We'll do the 9 and 9 challenge.
Yes.
Yes.
All about it.
I've done
All
it
about
before.
But they're pounders now. That's
Yeah.
tough. That's tough. That's a little
We
tougher.
did the 9 and 9 challenge in my apartment for one of the Reds games. It was like $25. So much cheaper. It was great.
right. Did you complete it? Did you
Oh
get
yeah. Oh, by like the 7th inning, it was bad.
Whoa.
No, you have to do it-
Whoa. Yeah, that's not how you
No,
do
you
it.
not
start.
how you do it.
just get to the 9.
No.
You do one and then
Yeah.
That's what's the challenge is. Anyone
See, I
can
eat like
drink
4
9
hot
beers
dogs.
and eat 9 hot dogs right off
I ate
the
like
rip.
4 hot dogs in the first inning, and then I can relax a little bit.
It's got to settle.
Yeah.
That's what makes it
That's
real
what makes it
hard.
hard.
All right, I'm
That's
in
what
on
makes
Tuesday.
it real
I've done it
hard.
before.
I'm in
It
on
was
Tuesday.
terrible.
The best is like if you do it at the stadium, you've got to get it all before the 7th inning.
Yeah.
So and you might, if the Reds are winning, you might only get half an inning in the 9th.
That
So-
last beer's real warm in the middle of June.
Oh yeah, it's a cold hot dog and a
Yeah.
warm beer in the 9th inning, and it's flat, and it's not good. Alexis Diaz is walking guys, and it's just
Gives you
not
a little extra time.
right. Gives you a little bit extra. Gives you a
Yeah.
little bit extra.
Real quick before we end this segment.
Yep.
Predictions for tonight. Final scores for tonight. We'll start with Jimmy, the non-Reds fan.
High scoring game, I think.
High scoring game. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. Well, King got crushed last week against the Rockies.
Former Yankee Michael King.
I'll say Reds win 6-4.
I said 3 wins on the homestand, winning the first game against San Diego and then winning 2 games against the Cardinals. I want to be wrong, but I think I'm going to stick with that. Reds lose tonight 4-1.
I have the Reds 4, the Padres 12.
Hanging your hat on that dozen runs.
That one again, huh? I'm gonna do another 1-run loss. I'm gonna say it's 3-2. Padres win it.
I am gonna go with 5-1. Padres win 5-1. Close game up until like the 5th.
How many dogs in attendance? It's Bark in the Park night.
Is it really?
That's
More
it.
dogs or people?
More
Oh,
dogs.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't
More
know.
dogs or
1-to-1.
more dogs or
There's
Reds
ratio.
fans?
I don't know. Me and Elliot saw a lot of animals walking in that
Yeah,
stadium.
yeah.
the
There
other
was a
day.
lot of doggies. All
I
right.
guarantee you all of them had a human with them.
No, I don't think so.
You never know. Some people have multiple dogs.
If
That's
you-
right.
That's true.
That's right.
I took my dogs to the Bark in the Park night, and the wildest thing is they just like buy sod. They just buy like patches of grass and just throw them around the stadium so the dogs can use the restroom during the game.
That's awesome.
So you see that. All right, we're gonna come back. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the National Football League.
Ooh.
The National Football League.
Ooh.
Some rule changes, as per usual, in the National Football League. That and more when we come back on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. You're listening to 1410 Wing AM. And we are back on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. I'm Reed Malmstrom, along with Casey McAllister, Elliot Rearing, James Collins, Jimmy Collins, and Jacob Tizzin. Guys, rule changes. This has kind of been the norm in the NFL.
Oh,
and
yeah.
bravo to the National Football League for consistently changing the game to a point to where you can't even get mad at the rule changes all that often because they happen every single year, and sometimes they rescind them. If it doesn't work, they rescind them. One rule change that they are going to be implementing, this was announced yesterday, was that they're going to try this in the preseason.
That's right.
They're going to have a little preseason, but they're going to have an electronic chain game. They're going to have an electronic chain game. Jacob, big football guy, pro or against this?
Pro. When I found out about 2 or 3 years ago that there was already a chip inside the ball to figure out what yard line it was on, and we were still using metal chains and 60-year-old dudes to trot out there and measure it, I mean, I can't for the life of me understand why we're just now changing this. This should have been done a long time ago, not only for first downs in the chain, but I think the goal line should be all digital as well. I can't see a single reason why it should still be physical or why it has been for the last 5 or 10 years. So this is long overdue, and I don't think there's any way it stops after the preseason.
I could not agree more because I've said this, the goal of sports, right? And some people disagree with this. They say it's entertainment and stuff like that. I think there's multiple ways you can go about the sport. Do you want to be entertaining? Do you want to get the best outcome? And I think that if you get the best outcome, the most justifiable outcome, then you are being entertaining. And this is another way to where you just take the human element and that load of crap that we always hear when it comes to the human element. I mean, why do we have guys pinching a line and then they walk on out and then they do the very dramatic, like stretching it out like it's Laffy Taffy, like boom.
And they still get it wrong once a year.
Right, they get it wrong. They get it wrong, and I just want them to get it right, and I agree with you. If we have the technology, and we are, as humans, advancing rapidly, especially in the world of sports, if we have the technology, let's implement it. Let's use it. I say the same thing for baseball. Let's have electric strike zone. Why are we having Angel Hernandez, getting balls and strikes wrong all the time? Let's get it right. Let's get it right, and that's what the NFL is trying to do. I love this rule.
I think it's great. And by the way, there were several key moments last year. I think there was a couple Rams games, actually, that were decided by, again, as Jacob called them, 60-year-old dudes who come out on the field. It's their second job, and they're like, what are we going to do? Oh, let's make a little money. Let's work the chains. It's fun.
Let's decide the outcome of NFL games.
Let's decide the outcome after a full day's work. And so they come in, and they get it wrong. And the worst part about most of those is you can't really challenge them because it's hard to see sometimes because it's in the middle of a pile and the cameras can't get a ball that's underneath 5 offensive linemen. So saying that, yeah, it's absolutely the right move. The NFL has done it again where they're constantly making these changes and most of them work. Most of them work. And
if it doesn't, this is the beautiful thing about the NFL is they can rescind it. Like we were talking about the hip drop tackle, that's going to be outlawed. If it's too hard to official, remove it.
It's
remove
impossible to.
We saw that happen with pass interference reviews.
Correct.
A couple years ago. They implemented that. It lasted for 1 season, and they did away with it because it made no sense and slowed down the game so much.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about change, is you can change again. That's what's beautiful about it. So, like, I know everyone, we do this in baseball. Everyone hated all the rule changes last year. Oh, we're going to have pitch clock. What? That's not the game. Yeah, now games are averaging under, I think 40% of games now are under 2.5 hours. That makes it a better product. It's incredible. I think you're going to like the Manfred runner at some point. I think we'll forget about that. I think the ghost runner rule is a good rule. But, people push against change. We don't want designated hitters in baseball. Well, we're about 3 years into that one, and everyone has completely forgot about it. Everyone forgot about that stupid argument that we had for years. And we're going to continue to do this. The NFL did this back in the 90s. Older fans might remember this. There was a big move. Hey, we have replay. Can we challenge plays? No, we want to get the call on the field. And then everyone argued, hey, I don't want replay. I want replay. And then replay. And now can you imagine watching a football game without replay? It'd be terrible. It'd be terrible. And this is just change. And if it doesn't work, you can come on back. I can't imagine where it doesn't work. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that there's huge controversies where it's just like, hey, all right, it's first down, move the chains. Well, now you can't even say move the chains. Is that saying gone now?
No. You still pick up a phone like this when you're using your hand. I think we're good with move the chains.
Okay.
By the way, Jordan in the chat is disagreeing here. He's disagreeing with us. Jacob, should they get rid of refs altogether if they're going to start making decisions like this where referees or officials can't make calls like this?
I've seen that take thrown around with this change going too far and removing the human element. Referees do so much more than walk the chains out there. So many calls you make in the span of a game are human decisions, subjective calls that you have to, have a brain and think through that AI couldn't handle or whatever. That's why when you talk about baseball with automated balls and strikes, you're still going to have an umpire back there.
Right.
There's stuff a human still has to do. But if you know exactly where the ball is on the field and exactly where the first down line is, or exactly where the end zone is, why not utilize that? I mean, you see soccer do it all the time with VAR and reviews to get things exactly right. You see baseball already has it pretty ironed out with the automated balls and strikes. We certainly have the technology. I don't know why we wouldn't use it.
I agree.
If you have the ability to get every call right, you do that.
Yes.
That's what you do. And I forget who it was, Steve, maybe, I think it was Steve Ross in the chat. He says, last night, the home plate umpire, Hunter Wendelstadt, he missed multiple calls on both sides. So there is that human element where it's the balance, right?
Hunter Wendelstadt, the head of the biggest umpire university in the world. So at least he's doing a good job teaching the young umpires.
That's right.
Getting calls right.
That's right. Shout out Hunter. Man. By the way, Hunter, did he have the worst ump game of this year?
Yes.
Okay, he did.
He did.
I just want to make sure that was on the record.
Shout out Hunter.
Have you guys ever been an official at a game?
Yeah.
Like any sport you've done?
I reffed youth basketball and umpired youth baseball all through high school.
Did you?
I did.
Were you a good official? Would you say that you were good?
I was better at baseball than basketball. I threw a couple coaches out, got mouthy, teed them
Nice.
Got to keep them all in line. But
That's
yeah,
right.
I
Did you
enjoyed
go to
baseball a
school
lot
for
more
it?
than
Did you go to like a?
There's like a 2-hour class. It wasn't travel ball or anything like that. It was just
Okay.
local youth. It was like a 2.5-hour class one Saturday. But yeah.
During COVID, I did it at the local Little League, and then I was like, hey, this is decent money. You get cash up front, right? Regardless if the game finishes or not, they give you cash up front. So I was like, hey, if I got some extra time, I'll ump some local games. I get involved with this local umpire scheduling company, and this guy gives me, he remembers me from when I was playing. He's like, oh, you'll be good. I had no training. They threw me out to a 17U baseball game. I show up. The other umpire comes and meets me, and he goes, hey, what do you want? You want the field or you want behind the plate? And I was like, I don't care. And he's like, how about you do behind the plate? I said, all right. When I tell you I had no training, he's giving me signals during the game. He's like, and I'm no idea what he's doing. I mean, it could have been ASL. Like, I had no idea what was going on, and I'm umping. And when I tell you, I was so bad, the catcher was giggling how bad I was. So I go out for the 17U game. I'm getting things heard from both coaches the entire game. The catcher's just giggling at me. The field umpire's doing this stuff. Luckily, it was a run rule, so it wasn't that long. I never heard back from that umpiring scheduling. They never scheduled me for another game. So I don't know if the coaches were like, hey, this guy doesn't have it or whatnot. I probably should have had some training because I didn't know where to stand. I think there was a play at the plate, and I was just like, I was standing like behind the catcher. I did not have a good view whatsoever, and I just rung the guy up. I think he was safe by a mile. I was just trying to get the game over with as quickly as possible. I was literally that guy. I mean, it was bad because you play a game your whole life, you're like, oh, I know how to do this, and then you go and do it, and you're like, golly, that was not bad. And I don't ever want to do it again.
Yeah,
I don't ever want to do it again.
I have two friends who did it. Shout out to Mitch and shout out to Chris. They did it, and both of them had to deal with the west side of Cincinnati, as Jacob knows. Parents on the west side, they care about youth sports, and they care about it loudly. And what happens is when you're umpiring a fifth grade baseball game, the parents think they've got little Barry Bonds up at the plate. All of them. Mm-hmm. Every player is little Barry Bonds, even the ones that suck. And so I think there was a game where my friend Chris, I think is a Chatterbox native, as everybody knows here, maybe not Jacob and Jimmy, but Chris did work here, and there was a game where, no joke, he threw out both managers. He threw out both managers by the third inning, and it was absolutely hilarious.
This is the final umpire game. So when I told you I did the Youth Little League, and we have a very competitive Youth Little League. Go to the Little League World Series, Hamilton West Side. They finished second in 2021. In 2020, I'm umpiring the games. It's COVID, and they can't have two umpires, so it's just one guy, and I'm doing it from behind the pitcher's mound. They said, hey, you could just call balls and strikes from behind the pitcher's mound. You're just the guy. and there's a kid that's pitching for one of the little league teams. He's actually like Moeller's best player now. He like committed to an SEC school when he was in 8th grade. His name's Matt Ponatowski. And when I'm telling you, if he threw a strike, there wasn't a kid in the league that could hit it. He's throwing so hard that the catcher cannot catch the ball. To a point where he walks a guy and the catcher cannot catch the ball. It's a 2-run game. And the ball just keeps going by the catcher. So the guy goes to third base. It's the final inning of the game. There's two outs, 2 strikes, and they throw a ball to the backstop. The kid from third scores but doesn't slide. I call him safe. There was a kind of a play at the plate. You're supposed to slide or you're out.
Yeah.
Their coach comes running out there. He's like, yo, he's got to slide. And I was like, he's safe. And he's like, what's the rule? And I looked at him square in the eye and I said, I don't know. Because I did not have the rule book. No one gave me a rule book. So then he's down and he's like, how about this? I put this game in protest. You tell the league that this game is in protest. And I say, gotcha. I did not talk to anybody. I got a text from like the guy who runs the league, like, hey, field 3, 6 o'clock. I didn't like go to anybody after the game and, hey, what was the final score? Who pitched? How many pitched? I was just like, yeah. So he's like, I put this game in protest. You tell the league. I said, we go back out. 1 pitch later, the game ends. They win the game. And I'm like, that dude yelled at me for 5 minutes. This is terrible. I'll never umpire again. It's not fun. But
I think the change is already, the movement has already started in umpiring where nobody wants to do it anymore. Because you see the viral videos where parents are just coming out in the field punching umpires now, and it's just like, why would anybody want to do that for $25? Whatever you
get paid well. You get paid pretty well. It's
for youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably get paid $60-$70 for
Really?
the game. Yeah.
If you're behind the plate, maybe even more than that.
Yeah. So I remember if you do like JV baseball, they're supposed to have 2 umpires. So they have say it's $60-$70. They have money for 2 umpires. If one of them doesn't show up, you get paid double.
Oh, really?
So if you're the home plate guy, you're just praying that the first base, the base guy doesn't. Which, by the way, there's not a better job in the world than being the base umpire. You just hang out. Like
if you're the home plate umpire and the base umpire doesn't show up, you're not getting a single call right at second base.
No.
You're just guessing from behind home plate.
Right. You're wandering around and you're probably calling a lot of outs.
Yeah.
You're probably
you're getting out of there.
Every bang play. One fun thing that I do notice about umpires is it doesn't matter the actual the result of the play when it comes to youth baseball. They will, if it's a bang play and the field did the right thing, like they relay it right, whether the guy slid safe or not, they'll call you out because they're like, hey, good job, defense. You hit your cutoff, man. You got the third on time. Good job. And I prefer that.
And we get to go home early.
Yeah, everyone has fun. Everyone's having fun. We're having fun here on Off the Bench. You're listening to ESPN Radio on 1410 Wing AM. We'll be right back. It's 5-3.
Yeah,
I'm
keeping a tally now.
5-3. Let's go to breaks. I will say before we do the ads for the members, we're getting back to our normal schedule. This is what we have planned for you. We're gonna have box lunch today, immediately following the show. On Thursday, we're gonna have a watch along, watching the Day Reds game. So sit in here and you can watch the game with us. We'll have some fun. And then on Friday, we're gonna have box lunch again, but it will be after Tom's show. So it'll be a little later, and we'll do Quiplash and all those fun things. And we're gonna Elliot. I don't know if he's announced this yet, but we've tasked Elliot with doing some more outside the studio things.
That's right.
To have some fun and give you guys more content. So we would really appreciate if you guys would become a member. We love every single one of you guys. Give us a like on the stream. Give us a comment on the stream. Make sure to comment all the videos we post out, and we'll have a lot more stuff for the members. So we appreciate and love you guys. We also love our sponsors.
Yeah, that we do.
What a throat clear that was.
Yeah, I had to clear it because I lost my voice there. But Pawnee Water will help me fix that. Made right here in Hamilton, Ohio. Uses natural limestone filtration, unlike the artificial processing that other brands use. The result is a healthy alkaline water, and some say the best tasting water in the world. You can visit Pawnee Water at PAHHNIwater.com to see where you can buy great tasting water. And we have Encore Technologies. Encore Technologies provides IT solutions for a data center world with a suite of services from mobile computing to desktop to data center, supporting both centralized and work-from-home computing modules to improve efficiency and
Productivity.
No.
Productivity?
It's not productivity.
What is it?
Is that Detroit? Like, is that an accent?
Productivity.
Productivity.
Oh, sorry.
Productive, not product.
We're not talking about the product, but we are talking about the product.
You are talking about the product.
Product.
That's the app.
But
Sports productivity.
But in that, yeah. So now we got to redo it.
What is Encore's product?
Technology.
Technology.
Technology solutions. That's right. That's right.
Everyone knows that.
Like when I need something to be solved or I need a solution about my technology, I know who I'm calling.
At the
Yeah.
corner of happy and healthy.
That's
Productivity.
That's correct. In the city of brotherly love.
The city that never brotherly sleeps.
visit Encore.tech. The path to innovation begins right here in
Where?
this studio. Right here in this studio.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
That was good. That was good. Any other housekeeping things? Or did
No.
we get to the final? Did we get to the final ad?
We need some likes.
We
to
need
get
some likes.
up.
Give us how about
Need some
this?
likes.
How many we got? How many we got in the chat? If we get to how many likes are we at?
29.
30?
30.
If we somehow miraculously get to 100 likes, 100 likes, we'll do a 2-hour box lunch.
With Quiplash.
With Quiplash, we'll do the whole
Yeah.
9.
How many likes?
100.
And
100.
We need
the
100.
Reds will go on a 12-game winning streak.
Yes.
Yes, a like. Each like adds on to the 12 games. So 100-game win streak from the Reds. It's never been done before. But David Bell can get it done. David Bell can get it done. All right, we got 2 segments left.
Yep. 5 seconds of silence.
All right, gotcha. And we are back on the radio. Chatterbox is on the radio. I killed that. 1410 Wing AM. This is Off the Bench presented by United Dairy Farmers. We got 2 segments left, and we are making Chatterbox sports history right here and right now. And how we are doing so is for the first time in Off the Bench, we are doing an NBA segment, a full-fledged NBA. Yeah,
It's
let's
never
clap it up.
happened.
Let's clap.
It's never happened
never
before.
Happened. Jacob Tissett, you had money on your beloved Indiana Pacers last night,
I did, and I do.
and it didn't end well.
They were 9-point dogs. They lost by 5. What do we say? Good teams win, great teams cover.
That's
So-
right. That's right. But they did not get the job done on the win.
They did not.
They did not
They
get the
did
job
not.
done on the win, but it was an exciting finish nonetheless.
Celtics minus 900 favorites to win the series, minus 9 points last night, about a 500 on the money line. No one really gave the Pacers a chance, and it was a tie game at half. It was seriously a great game, back and forth. Miles Turner dominated offensively in the first half, 18 points. Only scored 5 the rest of the game. Tyrese Halliburton, 25 and 11. He was amazing passing the ball, great facilitator. And Andrew Nembhard hit his first 6 shots of the game. So the Pacers were out there rolling after beating the Knicks in the Garden in Game 7 on a quick turnaround. But in the second half, they hung around and kept it close, but they turned the ball over 22 times, and it just slipped away from their fingers at the end. Halliburton threw it away on the final 2 possessions. And Jaylen Brown hit a 3, down 3 with about 8 seconds left to force overtime. I don't understand why you don't foul up 3, Reed.
There are still some people that say you shouldn't foul. That seems like that's just math.
It's just math.
It's just math. They cannot score 3 points
8 seconds
if you go to the
left,
line.
no timeouts. Why don't you foul? All you have to do then is inbound the ball, make 2 free throws, and you're on to game 2.
Right,
Yeah, the only way you don't do it, like you see this season, I said don't do it because if you foul in that scenario, then you have to go to the free throw line when they foul you, and UC couldn't make a free throw to save their lives. So if you have poor free throw shooting, it's tough to make that task because you know whether it's going to be with 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, the other team's going to have some sort of prayer at the end, and you're trying to eliminate those prayers. Now, saying all that, it's still 100% the right decision. The fact that teams don't do it, crazy to me, especially in the NBA where you know guys are going to make free throws. So if that was the case, and I'm pretty sure they did have a timeout left, the Pacers did, All of that is just nonsense to me. But yeah, listen, the Celtics are by far the best team in the East, and it's not even remotely close. The Pacers hanging in last night. I thought that was a fun game. I didn't get to watch the whole game. I watched the end of the game. And again, shout out to Jason Tatum, who I'm not a believer in at this point in his career. Very good basketball player, but it seems like, especially when I have money on it, in the postseason, he kind of chokes in the biggest moments. Last night, he did not do that. He showed up.
Yeah, he played great in the fourth quarter and in overtime. He scored almost all their points in overtime. He outscored the Pacers in the overtime period.
That's wild.
Unbelievable game. The stat that everyone's really pointing to last night is the Pacers only shot 10 free throws, 6 of those free throws coming in the late fourth quarter and in overtime, while the Celtics shot 30. And if you were watching the game last night, Tyrese Halliburton had a replay where he got hacked on a layup straight across both arms. Miles Turner with jersey was pulled straight across his chest. There were a lot of blatant foul calls that Doris Burke and Mike Breen were pointing out in the broadcast that the refs were just missing. So I don't know if there's some home cooking. The NBA is upset that the Pacers knocked their beloved Knicks out. But it seems like the old Adam Silver and the boys in the NBA offices are real happy to get the Celtics that Game 1 win.
Adam Silver was probably so upset that the Pacers beat the Knicks.
So upset.
I mean, how great would it have been? New York versus Boston,
Yeah.
Knicks versus Celtics, and they just robbed us of this. I am interested to see the ratings from this playoffs because, once again, never been an NBA fan, haven't watched a whole lot of association basketball. It feels like there's a lot more buzz around the playoffs this year than ever. Because typically, and we've talked about this before, typically no one cared about the postseason until the conference finals, right? Because you can just go ahead and pencil in LeBron to the finals.
Yep. Steph Curry.
Right. It's just pencil in to the conference finals, then the games actually matter. And that's not been the case. Really, from the first round, we're like, oh, wow, what's going to happen here? Can the Lakers beat the Nuggets in the first round? And then the Nuggets get bouncing round 2, and teams are going, well, what's going to happen with the Heat? Like, all these things that have made up for one of the best NBA playoffs. Once again, on the periphery. I haven't watched a whole lot, but there's just a lot of buzz around these teams. And I want someone that watches a lot of NBA playoffs, someone like Jacob, to sell me on watching tonight's game.
I think tonight's game's a little easier to sell you on than even Pacers-Celtics. And last night, I think, is going to get a lot of people invested in that series going forward. But tonight, or I guess not tonight, but Timberwolves and the Mavericks, Luka against Anthony Edwards, 2 face of the league guys, that's going to be an exciting series. Luka, younger than everyone thinks. He's younger than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who everyone points to as an upcoming face of the league. And everyone thinks Luka is this old guy who's already hit his prime. And he's maybe young enough to still have a good career in front of him. But he's one of the younger guys in the entire league. And I think because he came in and played at such a high level so early, people think he's a lot older than he is. But he's right there in the mix for that face of the league situation. And since the Mavericks got Kyrie Irving and PJ Washington on the court at the same time at the trade deadline this year, they have been unbelievable. I mean, they have been unbelievable. You saw what they did to Denver in Denver. No one's been able to beat Denver at that altitude for basically 2 years now, and they won 2 out of the 3 games they played there. So I'm really excited for this series. I think it's going to be a great back and forth, and I would expect this to go either 6 or 7.
Does the winner of this series become the face of the league? Ant and Luka?
If one of them wins a ring, I think so. I think if Jason Tatum wins a ring, we're going to see a spin back to him being the penciled-in name of face of the league. He's made the conference finals 5 of the last 7 years. I know he doesn't have a ring yet, but LeBron didn't have a ring at this age either. So we know what he can. We know what you can do in the years past. In your late 20s and early 30s. So I think Jason Tatum's a name people are glossing over pretty quickly in the face of the league.
Why is that? Is it because he struggled in clutch time before?
Absolutely, and that you've seen him make the runs and not win. It's a conversation I think that is very similar to the conversation that was around LeBron when he left Cleveland, because he had played and lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Celtics, lost in the finals, and you see people pointing at LeBron that he could never win the big one, and obviously you saw what happened in Miami. I think we're going to see a turn with Jason Tatum here soon, whether it is in Boston or whether it happens to be somewhere else, but I think something that is working against Jason Tatum is he's a Duke Celtics guy. Ugh. That's pretty easy to hate on the Duke, and the Celtics. So I think it's going to be a little bit harder, a little bit more of an uphill battle for him to be the face of the league. But I think he could take on the villain role like LeBron in Miami very well.
If the Celtics don't win it this year, are they
frauds?
Are they nearing the cowboy talk? Like they're like, I'm done believing in the Celtics.
Yeah, but what's crazy is they're so good that next year they're going to be in the same exact position. Like the Cowboys don't win in the playoffs. That's where the difference is a little bit. The Celtics win in the playoffs. They just get to the finals, the conference finals, and lose. So that's like that's a little bit different. Let me ask you this, Jacob. Jaylen Brown predicted he would have 5 championships before he turns 28. He's 27 years old. He's got 0. Do you think he can get all 5 this year?
That's going to be close. That's
Yes.
going to be close. I'm personally going to go out on a limb and say no.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say as well. I do kind of agree with Reed though. I think if the Celtics lose another one, and they were by far the favorites to win this tournament, by far to win the championship all season really.
Currently minus. They're minus 130 to
Is that
win the
right?
championship. Yep.
Oh my God. So and they were, and I think they were like plus 200 like quarter of the way through the season.
Well, they were just running through the
Yeah.
East.
They were
Running
like-
through the
They
East.
clinched a playoff spot, I think, in mid-January.
Yeah, they were like plus 100 going into the playoffs, like about even odds. But I do want to like pitch
Sell me
the
on your
series.
Detroit Pistons. I'm
No,
just kidding.
I have nothing to sell you there. But I do want to pitch the series to you
Pitch it.
because this season the Celtics are 0-2 in Game 2. We're going into Game 2. Pacers down 1-0.
Okay.
They choked the lead away. But if the Game 2 trend holds with Boston sports, Pacers could win Game 2, come back to Indy 1-1.
So
Could make a series. out
So
of it.
you're telling me I got to watch Game 2.
You gotta watch
and
Game
go
2.
ahead and bet Pacers money line.
Pacers also haven't lost in the field house. So
Really?
when that gets back- Yep. Haven't lost in the field house. So when that gets back to Indianapolis, that barn's going to be jumping.
Yeah.
Team's fun to watch.
But last night was frustrating because I also think you have to foul up 3. And it's just become like a thing, in especially college basketball, where teams just do it. And
Right.
as frustrating as it is when you're watching a game and your team's down 3 and like, oh, we might have a chance to win here or tie the game, and you just foul, and it just creates a bunch of free throw opportunities both sides, and it drains the clock down to the point where your team's probably gonna have to have like a half court, full court eve, and I just don't know why they didn't do it.
The thing about the fouling up 3 is think about when you're on the other side, right? When you're the team losing by 3, you're cheering for your team. They're down 3. You get noticeably frustrated when they're fouling you because you just want a shot. You just want to take a shot at it.
Right.
So typically, if you're doing something that frustrates the other team, you should probably do it.
Yes, absolutely.
That's probably a pretty good sell. Like, oh, this is really going to make the other team upset and their fans upset. So let's just go ahead and do it. Because that just, I don't know. It just seems like, it's just, as we put it earlier, it's just math, baby. It's just math.
Math rules.
I will say part of the NBA that maybe just the way that Steph Curry kind of obviously evolved the game. They shoot more threes in the NBA than I've ever seen in my entire life. I've watched probably more postseason basketball this year than I have ever, and it's legitimately like they don't wind the shot clock down a lot of the time. It depends on who you're playing. Obviously, if somebody's good defensively, Minnesota is. I think the Cavs locked down the Celtics in one of those games I watched, and it was the Celtics were unable to shoot threes because it was just pure lockdown perimeter defense. But saying that, a lot of the time they'll march down there, 24 seconds of the shot clock, at the 21-second mark, boom, three-pointer right off the rip, contested, heavily contested, fade away, and it's just like, is that the best shot you could have got?
Yeah.
There's no way. I saw Jokic shot 10 threes in their elimination game, 10 threes, and it wasn't like that was the best possible shot that was there. He was like, all right, well, I'm here and I don't want to move anymore, so I'm just going to pop a 3, which is fine. That's the way the NBA's evolved. But I will say it's sometimes a little frustrating to watch.
It's awesome when Joker shoots a 3-2 because it's an ugly looking,
Oh,
like
horrible.
it's not aesthetically pleasing,
Shoot
and
it
then it
from,
just
like-
goes through. It's just, and you're just like this big ass.
That's an appropriate word.
You can say that.
I can say that.
You can say.
That big ass guy is just shooting 7-footer. It's not aesthetically pleasing, but you know what? It looks when it goes through the net.
I'm going to ask the NBA guys, both of you, top 5 NBA players right now.
Jokic won.
I agree. That's my one.
As long as one guy's still playing, he's always going to be number 1. As long as LeBron's on the court, he's number 1, in my opinion. I think Steph's 2. It's the same thing for me.
You think Steph right now
I
is
think
the
those
second
two
best?
are-
Both top
I think
10,
those two
but-
are 1-2 until they retire. We had Game 6 of the second round of Knicks Pacers, and Stephen A. Smith did a 30-minute segment on if he could beat LeBron if he was spotted 99 points in a one-on-one game to 100. Like in the middle of the NBA playoffs. I think until LeBron retires, he's number 1. He led the NBA in fourth quarter points in the playoffs and the regular season this
Yeah.
year. He's still playing at a high level.
I was gonna say LeBron too.
LeBron's top 5 for
Yeah.
sure. But I'd argue top 3. I think mine it's Jokic 1.
Yep.
It's probably going to be Luka 2. Then it's probably Ant 4, and then at 5 we have.
I would have Luka above Ant.
You would not have Luka.
I would
Okay.
have Luka above Ant.
Okay.
Probably.
LeBron's still my 3, and then number 5. It's not Steph anymore. I don't.
Did you say SGA?
No, SGA probably 5.
I'd probably put Tatum in there. Just
Tatum,
'cause-
listen,
Tatum's
I-
not my
Tatum's
not my
gotta go.
top 5.
It's it's Joker 1, and then you got a mix of
You
Giannis.
missed one. Yeah, you missed
Giannis is 3 for me.
Giannis is still
Giannis
is still
is
top
a
five.
hack.
2 MVPs.
Giannis is a hack.
I'll go.
He hates the Greek freak.
Run and dunk man.
He's got no skill set whatsoever.
ball, I'll
He's
take
tall,
3
he's
steps
big,
and
and he
go.
runs down the court.
Yeah, I'll go Jokic,
Pretty good skill
LeBron,
set.
It is one good. I was impressed with that one.
Jokic, LeBron, Giannis, Luka, Tatum.
I like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I like
I'm not
that.
going to have an opinion because I don't watch enough of it. I'm still if and this is the final question I'll ask before we go to a break. If LeBron had the 5 guys in the room right here, Jacob Tissett, Jimmy Collins, Reed Mouse, Elliott Rearing, Casey McAllister, 5, and I'm saying this with love and respect, not very athletic guys. 5 not very athletic guys. It was LeBron and us 5, and we played in the MAC. Would we win any games? Like, would we win
I
some
think
games?
we'd win the NCAA tournament.
No, we wouldn't win the
No.
NCAA
I think
tournament.
I think we would.
With
No, I
LeBron?
think we would.
Like I
No.
legit, we'd win the match.
40-year-old
We would win
LeBron.
the
I'm
match.
not talking 27, 28-year-old LeBron.
If
I'm
you
talking
put-
40-year-old
Yeah, you
LeBron.
win the
Put
match.
current LeBron on any of the 16 seeds in the tournament, they would have won the tournament this year.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Who's stopping that?
He
Well,
would
I don't
score
know who's
every
stopping
game.
LeBron. I don't know who we're stopping.
Which MAC player is stopping that?
Our 2-3 zone, our 2-3 zone, and having Casey and Elliott out on the perimeter trying to block shots is gonna be interesting to say the least. But I don't know. I think we'd win a couple games in the MAC. I don't think we're winning the MAC. We also got 6 guys to play 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're gonna.
But we don't need to
out.
do much on offense. We just give LeBron the ball.
Can you imagine us about 30 minutes into the game? We're in the second half, and 10 minutes left, and it's our turn to have the ball. We got 30 seconds to shoot, and we're not even going up the court yet. Like, we've got literally
Oh, I'm fouling out early. I'm getting
our
out of there.
offense is just a
have
series
backups.
of
That's
ball
tough for you.
screens on LeBron. We're just taking one after one, just ball screening for LeBron. He's just running in a circle, and then he's got to
What
go
we
dunk
could
it.
do is
Do we get
really
Ronnie off the bench?
we'd hold hands in front of him, and then we'd walk slowly towards the basket, and whatever LeBron wants to do with that, he can have.
Old Reddit Warriors
yeah,
offense.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to come back. When we come back, we're going to talk about the over-unders in the NFL. They are released. The schedule's released. We know where Vegas thinks teams should be, and we're going to give our opinions over, under on the NFL win totals when we come back on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers, 1410 Wing AM, your home for sports in the Miami Valley. Casey, you got to get better. We're back on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers, 1410 Wing AM. We were talking,
Boom, 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 boom,
win
boom.
totals are out. And I think that's a good parameter of how you expect a team to perform. Sometimes they inflate it just on speculation. We saw this last year with the Jets, and still this year. What does an Aaron Rodgers Jets team? Where are they? We didn't get to see that last year, and I think they're still floating somewhere around double digits for the win totals. But that's going to be interesting to see, and more. Jacob, you've got some over-unders that we're going to go around the room
Yes.
and give our thoughts on if they're going to go over or under. So, Jacob, the floor is yours.
We're going to start off with the AFC North and the team that's projected to finish first in the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens win total is set at 11.5. 11.5 wins for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take the over. I know that's a high number. I think the Baltimore Ravens played a very, very good brand of football last year and still battled through a lot of injuries to win a tough AFC North. Obviously, it's going to be tougher this year with a healthy Bengals team, hopefully a healthy Browns team, and a Steelers team with maybe a little bit better quarterback. But I still think I'm going to take the over 11.5. I think right about 12 wins, which certainly doesn't give you a lot of wiggle room, but I think right about 12 wins is where I see the Ravens finishing.
Jimmy, got an opinion on the over-under 11.5 for the Ravens?
Yeah, I mean it's a tough schedule. I'm looking at it now. They have
It's a very tough
First
schedule.
place schedule.
yeah.
First place schedule and playing the AFC North.
Right.
So I mean you could see a little bit of a slow start, but I do think that they're the best team in the division, and 12 wins is very doable.
Take
so I'd
the
say
hat off.
over. You said yes.
Here's what I'll say about the Ravens. I think that last year we slept on how good their regular season was. It truly was one of the best regular seasons that I've seen in a while. They dominated teams. Remember the Dolphins beat the Cowboys, and they're like, put some respect on our name. Then the next week, the Ravens scored about 80 on them. The Ravens are dang good.
The Ravens beat the Lions 38-6.
Dominated. And here's the thing, though. They're now playing a first-place schedule. They played a second-place schedule the year prior. They're playing an AFC North, and I think we can all agree that the Steelers got better. I think that if Joe Burrow's playing, the Bengals are better than they were a year ago, and we'll see what happens with the Browns. If they're not floating around their quarterback situation, they might be a better team too. They get Derrick Henry. Now, there are questions on that secondary, right? They lost a lot of defensive pieces for the Baltimore Ravens, but 11.5 is a really, really good line. I say that they go over if Lamar Jackson plays all 17 games. They're still one of the best teams in the AFC and the National Football.
That's an important caveat. I totally agree.
I was going to say the same thing. If they remain healthy, they will get that. I don't think they're going to be healthy, though. And not to mention, Jimmy mentioned the schedule. There's like 4 gimme games, I'd say. And those 4 gimme games are probably not even the biggest gimme games you could have. So, and they also have the stretch the Bengals had. They have that 10-game stretch where you're playing 3 games. So, no, I do not think they will get 11.5. They will be under.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the schedule for them next year. They have a brutal first, 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, it is unbelievably tough. Kansas City, defending Super Bowl champions. Then Raiders is, I don't know what you make of that, but their defense is a bit better now. Dallas, going to Dallas, that's going to be tough. Buffalo, Josh Allen. Cincinnati is not going to be a snooze fest anymore. I don't know. I think the difference, though, I think you guys are keying in on health. I don't think it's health. I think it's whether or not they can beat the Bengals or not. I think the Bengals are ultimately what pushes them over to be a 13-4 team or a 11-6 team. I think that's going to be.
What do you think the floor is for the Ravens? Because I think we all agree that the floor is probably. I think it's 10-7.
Right.
That's the floor.
That's the floor for the Ravens. So I'll err on the side, and I think their ceiling is a 14-13 team.
I'm actually a little higher than you guys. I think they're 11-6.
Okay, so you're on the over. If you think that their floor is 11-6.
Well, I mean that's their
floor and their ceiling is both 11-6.
No, their floor is 11-6. I think their ceiling is 13-4. I don't think there's very much room for error. I think, but this is also, of course, we already had the caveat of health. I don't know if Lamar goes down, then it just all goes out the window. But if they're all healthy, I think the difference is if they beat the Bengals twice.
Do you still think that Tyler Huntley is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson?
No.
Snoop.
Okay.
Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley.
But he is a
right.
Pro Bowler.
That's right.
They have
That
2
is
Pro Bowl
true.
quarterbacks.
What's next?
Based on where everyone sat on that, I think we kind of all agree that Derrick Henry is not worth more than maybe 1 or 2 wins.
Derrick Henry's not worth 2 wins in any. What?
I'd agree. No, I say the same exact thing, but that's with an 11.5 line and you're split on over-under. You're not adding a whole lot of wins for that signing.
Jacob said this yesterday. I don't forget if you said it on air or off air. When it comes to the Derrick Henry signing, how much better can that run game get?
There's not just 1,200 rushing yards sitting out there in the Ravens' offense for him to just swipe up. They're coming from somebody.
Right. They might be more dominant in the red zone, but how I just don't get the Derrick Henry signing doesn't move. They already had the best rushing offense. What's going to happen?
Totally
They're going to have
agree.
the best rushing offense. What are we talking about? It's going to be the same team. They just got a bigger guy back there.
Totally agreed. Second team, second place in the AFC North based on win totals, are Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals win total is, that's not right. It's 10.5.
10.5.
The win total for the Bengals is 10.5.
It was 11.5 on some books.
It
at some
opened at
points.
11.5, but it is 10.5 for
Okay.
the win total. I'm going to take the over on that as well. He went 9-8 last year with Jake Browning starting the back half of the year. You won some tough games against some pretty good teams, some fringe playoff teams, some playoff teams. So I think interjecting Joe Burrow in there, and I'm going to say the thing that no one wants to say. Give him his first healthy offseason, get into the offense, no injuries in training camp. He goes through all the practices and everything. I think that's worth at least 1 or 2 wins. So I'm sitting at about a 10-win floor for the Bengals, a 10-7 floor, and a 14-3 ceiling. So I'm pretty comfortably taking the over there.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I take the over there. I think they'll win 11 or 12 games. I think they have a very favorable schedule this year to where if they do stay healthy the entire season, they could win 13, maybe 14 games. And they're favored in a bunch of games as well.
They're favored in, I think, 13 of 17 games.
Yep.
I think the only games that they're not favored are on the road against the Ravens. I think they're favored at home against the Ravens. No?
They are favored.
They're
at home
favored
against
at
the
home
Ravens.
against the Ravens. They're not favored on the road in Dallas. Not favored on the road in Kansas City. And I'm missing one other one. And that might just be those three.
It might just be those.
It might just be those three. So
I think the Week 18 Steelers game was a pick'em because you don't know how that's going to affect
correct. And I think
rosters.
the Eagles game's a pick 'em
Okay.
at home. Eagles game's a pick 'em at home. So, listen, I think that I think, you guys know my take. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. If Joe Burrow is playing, this team makes the Cincinnati Bengals are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. And all it took was one season of them not contending, and everyone's already forgetting about what the Cincinnati Bengals are with Joe Burrow on the field. And people can say he's overrated all they want. The simple fact of the matter is he's played 2 full seasons, and they were a couple plays away from winning the Super Bowl and a couple plays away from getting back to it. And I'll continue to believe that they are Super Bowl contenders until I see a full season of Joe Burrow where they are not Super Bowl contenders. So, yeah, I'll take the over.
If the Bengals don't win 10 games this year with this schedule, you got a serious problem because it's one of the easier schedules I've ever seen. And that's, again, as of right now, that's as of today. That's May 22nd. That can change over the course of an NFL season quickly. So, but as of right now, as of today, 11 wins. That should be very attainable as long as you don't go 1-5 in the division. And that hinges on everything. If you can split the division, you're going to win 11 games, 100%.
Okay.
So, yes, I'm going to say 11 wins for the Cincinnati Bengals. Over.
Yeah, I'm going to also say over too. I have the same exact sentiment as Jacob does. I think they have a very high ceiling, 14-3. It just depends on health and Joe Burrow. We've already said this time and time again. Are we disappointed if they don't win more than 10 games? Like if they don't go over? Because I think I might actually be disappointed if they don't.
My disappointment.
They'll be in the playoffs, but they won't be like.
If
My
they go 10
disappointment-
and if they go, well, see, this is where I change my opinion. If they go 10-7 and they're in the playoffs, my disappointment or excitement is all based off of how they do in the postseason.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Regular
care
season
how you
win-loss
I don't
does
care
not
how you
matter
get
to me.
there.
Yeah.
I just want to get there. But yeah, if they don't win 10 games with a healthy Joe Burrow this entire season, or don't win 11 games with a healthy Joe Burrow this entire season, and they don't make the postseason, very, very, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. All right, AFC North, quickly.
The second team or the third team in the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns, win total at 8.5. Projected to finish third. I'm going to take the under on that. I don't think the Browns are going above 500 2 years in a row. It's just not going to happen. So we're going under 8.5 for me with the Browns.
I'll go under because Deshaun Watson's playing and he's bad at football.
He's bad. He is bad at football when he's not
Bad
relaxed.
guy too.
Bad guy.
Is that the
Bad
hill
player,
you
worst guy?
Is that the hill you want to die on? That Deshaun Watson's not a good guy?
Yeah.
Do you
I
feel
will.
comfortable?
You know what? I will.
Okay. You're asking me if I think that the stinky Browns will win more than 8.5 games? They will go under.
You guys aren't going to like this, but they are going to go over. The AFC North's a damn good division.
You're right, I didn't
They
like
start
that.
with the Cowboys, but then they go Jags, Giants, Raiders, Commanders. I think they've got a favorable schedule. They play the Saints this season. They play the Broncos this season. I think they can win, and I think I can find 9 wins here, as long as they don't go 0-6 in the division.
I forgot how much you love the Browns.
I don't like the Browns.
You said
No
they're going to
Flacco
make
to
the
save
AFC
him this year.
Championship.
I did have. By the way, Joe Flacco did win me my fantasy championship, so I will thank him for that.
Okay.
Joe Flacco, Indianapolis Colt. Some people
Yeah.
forget.
People do forget.
Not there anymore. How's Nick Chubb doing?
He's supposed to play this year.
Running backs don't matter.
I know, but he's such a big part of their team.
They just
I
don't.
think that is honestly the biggest difference because I believe what you guys say. I think Deshaun Watson stinks. I think 9 wins though, like that's their ceiling, right? Mm-hmm. So that's going to be pretty tough for them to,
They can win
to
10
do.
games.
So,
They can win.
Yeah.
so we're saying their ceiling is 10.
They got 11 last year with a bunch of different quarterbacks, but that was with an
They haven't
entire
had,
hurt AFC.
Deshaun Watson hasn't been healthy, and they've won games.
But the entire AFC had hurt quarterbacks. So
That's
true.
assuming that not Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, yada 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 are all healthy, then that changes that scene significantly.
Yeah, and on top of that, their final 4 weeks of the season go Kansas City, Cincinnati, Miami, and then at Baltimore. That's a
Okay.
tough
Is that
stretch.
Miami
So
game at home?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Or it's in Cleveland. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
cold Miami late in the year. We talked about that yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Seems like an easy game to me.
But I think I'm gonna go under.
Okay. Okay. There's one other AFC North team.
Final team in the AFC North is the Pittsburgh Steelers. 7.5 win total, and I'm going to take the under there. Mike Tomlin gets his first losing season of his career, and I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. I'm still taking the under. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields doesn't really swing it for me. I don't think that team's very good. You're relying on George Pickens for a whole lot. You ship Deontay Johnson out of there. You draft mostly an entirely O-line. Not a whole lot of weapons there. I don't think the Steelers are going to be great.
I'll go over because of Mike Tomlin. And
That's-
they always
fair bet.
they always
fair.
find a way. They always find a way.
It
It's
is
so
true.
annoying.
That's fair. My thing with the Steelers this year, I think they're going to be competitive. I think they're going to be
They always
testy.
are. They always
I think
are.
every game, and a lot of games are in the NFL, are close, one-score games. But I think like every game the Steelers play this year will be close, one-score games. Saying that, I was watching Reed's guy, Colin Coward, and they have the hardest end to a schedule I think I've ever seen. Have you seen the end? I'm going to read you this end. This is November 17th on. Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Browns, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals.
That's tough.
That's how they end their season. That's
Tough said.
that is the hardest end to a schedule I think I've ever seen in my entire life. No gimmies whatsoever. You play each divisional opponent twice, and then add the Eagles and the Chiefs.
But
Yeah, they're not finding 8 wins. Not this year.
Casey,
7.
then I'll give you – go to Casey, then I'll give you my opinion.
Well, first off, they play the Atlanta Falcons week 1. That's an L.
That's a win.
Their entire schedule's tough. I mean, they play a Los Angeles team that's going to be a little bit more grittier than last year. Healthy Justin Herbert, I think that's another L. I think they're starting 1-2. Indianapolis Colts with Anthony Richardson. I like that matchup a lot. I think that's 1-3. Dallas. I mean, we're already at 1-4, and then that last back half of the schedule. So yeah, I'm going under on this. I think they're the worst team in the AFC North.
I think that it does matter who is taking the snaps. If you get a genuine personality, a good guy like Russell Wilson that everyone universally likes back there at quarterback, I think this team is impressive. I mean, they won 10 games last year with Kenny Pickett as their quarterback. So they've improved there. Yeah, the league is the conference is still very tough. Yeah, they play a very tough schedule. But if Russell Wilson's their quarterback, I'll take the over. If their kick returner Justin Fields is their quarterback, I'll take the under. They might even have the first overall pick if that's the case. So that's how we'll end the show on the radio. We will keep this conversation going on our YouTube stream. So if you're listening in Dayton, just YouTube search Chatterbox Sports. We're live every day at 10 a to 12 p. And you can watch the rerun of the show. So we'll continue this over-under on the YouTube show. But that does it for us here on 1410 Wing and Kenner and Kev coming up next. Casey, that's tough. What is it, 8-3?
Yep.
Yeah.
Something's gonna
I had a
change.
great.
we started
I had
up
a-
2-0 today, too.
Had
Fire
a
the manager,
great
get rid of
start
the GM.
today.
I don't know what it is, but something has to change.
I had a great start.
They need to let us
Show some emotion.
Casey.
Yeah.
Golly.
I need to kick a chair or something.
God, yeah, kick a chair.
You would kick that stool right there.
I might have
Do your
to.
best Bill
There's a
Belichick
baseball bat.
impersonation on the post game show like David Bell does. All right, we got more over unders. I think it's fun to continue this conversation. Jacob, send us through.
3 over-unders for us outside of the AFC North. This first one is my favorite over across the entire league outside of the Bengals. It's the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals over-under is set at 6.5 wins. I personally am a Kyler Murray believer. They won 4 games last year. I think a healthy Kyler Murray, a Marvin Harrison Jr. addition, Zay Jones in that receiving core. They have some exciting weapons on offense. Their defense was consistently getting better last year. Cardinals over 6.5 is my favorite bet outside of the AFC North this year.
Jimmy football?
I'm going to go under. I mean, they have a tough schedule. They play at Buffalo
It's a
week 1.
brutal schedule, dude.
Yeah.
They
That's a
play
brutal
Detroit.
schedule.
They play San Fran, obviously, twice. They play Green Bay, who's good. They play
So they
at
play the
Miami.
AFC North. They play the NFC
They play
North.
their division, yeah.
They play at Miami, which is tough.
What time? At Miami. Okay, so it doesn't matter.
At Miami in
It wouldn't matter
October.
if it was
so-
in Phoenix either.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a tough schedule. I think they could sneak maybe 4 or 5, but I don't think they go over.
The roster's bad.
The roster is very
But
See, that's where I
the
push
weapons,
back.
the weapons are good, and
like
Kyler,
the
the
roster.
offensive weapons are good. I'm with Jacob. I'm a Kyler Murray believer. People forget that he had this team just 3 years ago with a bad roster, took him to the postseason.
2 good tackles now. Jonah Williams on the left side or on the right side. Paris Johnson on the left side.
There you go.
Why'd you laugh?
Nah, that's funny. Keep going.
He was fine last year.
was
Get over
fine.
it. Get over it. Listen, this team can score points. I think their division's tough. Obviously, they play the NFC North, which I think is the best division in the NFC. I think the Seahawks are bad. I'll go out on that limb. I don't think the Seahawks are very good. I know they've been competitive.
Well, their quarterback stinks. So.
They're gonna have their quarterback stinks, and they're going to have a new coach. I think they're gonna be bad. I think that this is where I'm gonna go out on a limb. Obviously, the 49ers are loaded. I think they take a slight step back. I still think they're going to be Super Bowl contenders. I think they're going to take a slight step back. I think the Cardinals can beat the 49ers. And then I think they always take one from the Rams. I'll take the over. I'll take the over. I like the Cardinals.
What'd you say the number was?
6.5.
6.5. They won 4 games last year with no Kyler Murray for half the year, no weapons, no O-line.
How many games?
I think that
4 last year.
I think that
6.5 this year.
I think that schedule is too difficult. I'm going to say under. I think they win 6 games.
7. They have to win 7. And I'm trying to find 7 games that I think are winnable. I see Carolina, New England, Seattle. Both games I think are winnable. So that's 4 right there. And then Washington, that's 5.
I think they'll at least split with the Rams.
Yeah, maybe the Rams without Aaron Donald. But man, I mean that Rams team has just dominated the Cardinals forever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say under. I just can't find 7 winnable games. Can find like 4 or 5, but not 7.
I'm even going a step further. I have money on them plus 265 to make the playoffs. So I really do.
Wow.
Really do believe in the Cardinals. I think the NFC is incredibly weak, and I think they
What?
can sneak in there at 8-9, 9-8 in the wild card spot.
Who do they play like the first week of November? Do you have their schedule up?
I don't. I can get it though.
I was gonna say that's an L because the COD release is normally that time.
First week of
First week of
November,
November.
Bears.
They're playing the Bears, so that's gonna be an L. That's gonna be an L.
Bears,
but
Jets.
you let them play
That's
for
a
a week.
winnable game.
I think
Is
the
it?
Bears are going to be pretty good too.
Is it?
I think well, if you're looking at winnable games in the schedule, dude, they don't have one. They play the Broncos, they play the Commanders, they play the Raiders, or no.
They play the Vikings.
And they
Yeah, I'm
play
looking at the
and they-
schedule right now, and I'm seeing a lot of winnable games, man.
I'm not.
Cardinals,
2
Panthers.
games against the Seahawks.
I'm seeing 5 easy games.
I think they sweep the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are bad.
I don't think Buffalo's going to be good this year. I think they're going to be Buffalo.
Ooh.
I'm taking Buffalo's. I have it in here. We can
First
actually
week
go
of
to
the season?
We can go to the next one. Buffalo Bills, 10.5 wins. My favorite under of the entire year across the league. Under 10.5, I think, is the easiest bet you'll ever take. Just watch it cash. They won 10 games last year with a much better roster.
They lost a lot of pieces. They lost their entire safety room and here in
Stephon
Cincinnati.
Diggs, who had 110 catches.
Correct.
And
They
Gabe
lost
Davis.
some pieces. But I cannot say it doesn't
An
matter
accident out there.
what happens as long as Joe Burrow is upright, and not said the same about Josh Allen. He's the second best quarterback in the league. When he tries to single-handedly win you football games, he's more successful more often. So, what's going on downstairs?
Yeah.
What's going on downstairs?
Was that downstairs? Is that where that is?
Those are some big rats down there, just scurrying around. I don't know. You know what? I'll take the bold claim. You ready for this bold claim? Buffalo Bills over under 10.5. They're gonna push.
10.5 wins, exactly.
Yeah, they're gonna have exactly 10.5 wins.
I like that.
That's my push.
I like that.
I say they push.
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think the Bills will beat Arizona week 1. I feel like they always blow someone out at home in the first week of the season. They have 2 games against Miami every single year that they seem to dominate them. They do play the Ravens, which is tough. They play the Texans, which is tough. They play the Jets, which could be tough. Titans, they'll beat the Titans. They'll beat the Pats twice. They do have a tough schedule, though. I will give you that. I'll say they'll win 10 games exactly.
Ooh, if they go 10-6-1, does that count as a push?
No,
No,
because you would
it
have
counts as a
under
loss.
10.5 wins.
But it's kind of a half of a win. It's kind of a half of a
No,
win.
You know,
yeah,
if
bear
they
with
go-
me here. How many wins do they have?
They have 10.
Right, and the line is
Can we agree that a tie is a half of a win? That's what I
If they go
want.
10-6-1, you can claim that push.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm going to go over. I believe in Josh Allen. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be as good as people think.
What about the Jetsy Wetsies?
I think the Jets are also not going to be as good as people think. But to each their own. I have a hard time believing Aaron Rodgers is going to stay healthy
He's
this
going to be
entire
on the campaign
season.
trail.
He might be.
To be fair, I think 10 wins might win that division. So I'm taking their under, and I still think they might win that
Yeah,
division.
I would agree with that.
I think they win the division. And I think they win 10 games. What's the over? You said 10.5? I'm
10.5.
taking 11. I'm taking over.
We'll be right around there.
Casey Delarue?
I'm kind of with Jacob in a way. I think their schedule's tough. I think that my ceiling for them is like 10, 11 wins. I'm finding it hard to pick out the easy games, to be honest with you. So I'll go with under. I think that they don't make it to 11. I think they make it to 10.
All right.
The last one I have for us is old Trace Fowler's Green Bay Packers.
What they at, 9.5?
9.5 wins. They won 9 games last year, made the playoffs, obviously walloped the Cowboys in the first round. I'm taking the over, and I like this one a lot too. I know I seem to like a lot of overs, and there's more wins in the lines than there are in the actual NFL season, so it's important to remember that when you're looking at the betting. But 9.5 with a team that won 9 games in Jordan Love's pseudo-rookie year. He got better as the season went on. He looked his best at the end of the year. I think he's going to start off hot, and I think 10 wins is basically their floor for me.
Jimmy?
Elliot, you go before me.
I'm going to take the under. I think what you saw last year is not going to be replicated. And by the way, I think their schedule is winnable. I just am not buying the Jordan Love hype train. Not yet.
Not yet.
Can't do it. Refuse to do it.
You know what? I believe in Jordan Love. I believe the Packers, they were the youngest team to make the postseason last year since, like, O.J. Simpson's Bills. That division's gotten tougher. I was just looking at their schedule. They have some winnable games on there. They also play some tough games. Like, they play the Titans. They play, obviously, the Vikings twice. The Cardinals, who we think I'm high on. I think people are a little too low on the Jags. I think people are way too high on the Texans. What's the Texans over under?
9.5.
Ooh, okay.
Vegas is with me on the Texans.
If it was 10.5, because I thought some people would put it at 10.5, I would hammer that under. I would hammer that under.
I agree.
Love C.J. Stroud, but
Yeah, I agree.
mean, you can't expect him to go out and be an MVP again next year, right?
And he's fantastic, and they're doing a good job at putting pieces around it. The Texans made 2 different moves this year where it looked incredibly smart when they first did it. And then they like the Joe Mixon, great deal. They got a great deal for him. And then they extend him for like $30 million. You're like,
and then Diggs, the same thing.
right,
make the
Diggs,
deal
like
and
you
then
get a
void
deal.
his last 3 years.
And then it's just like, what? Like they made 2 moves that just were head scratching. We're head scratching. But I don't know. I'll take the over on the Packers. I'm a believer in Jordan Love. I wonder if you make money if you just take every team's under.
No, because they're not all like it's
They're
not
not all
minus
even
110.
juice. It's
Yeah,
not.
It's not.
It's
Like,
not
the
even.
The Steelers line is going to move.
It was
down
like
or
minus
up.
184
Yeah, it's minus
to
180.
be at 7.5.
Okay. Because if it was even money, like you said, unders hit more than overs.
Yeah, they don't have the same amount of wins either, so you wouldn't win at an
Right.
equal rate.
Right. Fair enough. All right, that's the over-unders for the NFL. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited. Football's only 4 months away. We've been 4 months without it, 3 months without it. We're 4 months away from it. And hopefully, when it comes to Bengals season, this is the first time where I haven't been super exhilarated for the start of the season. Obviously, after I went to the Super Bowl, you get ready for that first game, they lose. Last year, they go to the AFC Championship game, they lose, get stomped by the Browns on a rainy day in Cleveland. But I'm excited for football season. Nothing better than Sundays. You know what we should do? I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking about different content ideas that we could do. I told you guys my idea for what the show's going to look like. We'll show you guys that whenever that gets finalized. But I thought it'd be fun because this is a little inside baseball. Me, Jacob, and Casey are going to be sharing the load on Chatterbox Bengals this season, and it's going to be more of a regular show. It's not just going to be once a week. It's going to be more of a regular thing. I think it'd be fun to do some to go to different bar and grills in the area and rate how good it would be to watch a game there.
No, couldn't agree more.
I love that.
We
That'd be
go
phenomenal.
around, we get lunch there, we film like, hey, what's their TV situation look like? How much Bengals stuff do they have? And that's how we'll kind of gauge how much of a Bengals bar it is. What's the food like? How cheap are the beers? Like, how good of an area will this be? And that'll be kind of our
I like that.
preseason.
We could have some of the members pitch their favorite hometown
Location.
Yeah, I was thinking,
Yeah, I
obviously,
like that.
we can't do every bar.
Right. But some ideas.
But, like, yeah, we
once
can
a
take
while
different
rolling.
areas. Like, if you live on the west side, these are the top 2
Yeah.
bars on the west
Yeah,
side. You
once
live
a
on the
week.
east side. You live here, like, we'll do one here in Hamilton. And we'll do one in downtown area. And I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be a fun little
I like
content
that idea
idea.
a lot. It's a
Yeah,
good idea.
The Hamilton just opened up the 513 bar, which is, I believe, partly owned by someone who normally watches the show, Jolly Jolly. If it's not Jolly Jolly, it's his brother. Opened up the 513 bar here in Hamilton, and it looks really neat. Looks like a cool place to watch games. But I think that'd be fun little content ideas as a way to kind of publicize Chatterbox Bengals being more of a regular show and doing more there. But yeah, that'd be fun. Any other things you guys want to get off your chest here in the final 15 minutes of the show? I thought the segments were good today. The Cincinnati Reds going to play tonight against Nick Martinez versus if they win this game, are you all the way back, the season all the way back on?
If
Or
we
are
win
you
this
already-
game with over 5 hits,
Yes.
I'm in.
5. You have to have 5 hits.
Well, Herdebee's just gonna have 3, so
Yeah, if Herdebees has 3, then we're all the way back.
the win ticket?
Well, let's change it, Jacob. 5 hits, and there has to be like 3 different players who gets hits.
You know what? No.
No?
I'll take 5 hits as a team.
All right, so 5 hits by Ellie De La Cruz
And
tonight,
then we're
and
in.
we're back. Okay. I was trying to find. I sent Casey something. And I was trying to
If
find.
they
it.
lose this game, are we all the way out?
Yes.
it
That's the best. part about
changes
being-
every day.
It's,
Yeah.
it's the best part about being a Reds fan is just every game is.
No,
is
dragging those
that's what you
goalposts
are.
up and down the field. Just
Let me.
It is. The one thing that people always say, and I think it's like when they call you like a casual fan, they're like, you're not made for 162. In all seriousness, like it is hard to pace yourself
Yeah.
for 162
Yeah.
games to realize, hey, it's not the end of the world if we lose a game here and there.
evidently, most of the Reds players aren't built for 162 either. So.
Here's what I'm going to introduce on here on Off the Bench, right here and right now. This is going to be the 12 win counter. You ready?
Yeah.
Boom. That's 1. Win streak counter.
Let's go.
We're on the board. Road to 12 wins. Right here. We get number 2 tomorrow. This is if they win tonight, we'll start off the show with the win counter. That's 1. Put
I like
1 under
that.
the belt.
I like that.
Road to 12.
What if they lose though?
It's like then we go back to 0 and we wait for their next win, and then we clap it up for road to 12. It's like a day since last accident.
Nah,
You just
0 days since last nonsense.
right.
Basically. Yeah, I like that.
We haven't had a day in between nonsense here in quite some time.
No.
Alex said Reed will look like a fool when they win 13. I hope they do.
Yeah, they're going to.
Well, we know they're going to get 12. 13 is like
13's
the
a stretch.
13's where you get over. 13's where you get over. Are the Reds favored tonight? I haven't seen the line.
They
scroll
almost
across
certainly
the-
can't be with
They
Nick
are
Martinez.
not.
They're not. They're underdogs. Man,
Can we do daily dozen trivia? We haven't done that on the show in a while. I know Mr. Mo asked for it.
you want to do it live on the show?
Yeah.
Mr. Mo also
Hold
asked
up.
for college football win over unders.
Well,
So if we want to cook on those at some point,
give me what's UC's 4.5 under.
I think it is 4.5.
Under. What's Colorado's this year?
Under. Whatever that is.
Under.
I got to scroll to the Big 12 because you're with the big boys now.
That's right.
American right there at the top. No.
Will I shave my head if we win 12 in a row? If the Reds win 12 in a row?
Yeah.
No. See,
Yes, you
here's
will.
here's the
Yes,
thing.
you will.
I
Say you will.
I will.
I won't shave it. Can I get a buzz cut? Like I don't want to like actually like go bald.
Yeah, no.
Like I just want to get
If the
like,
Reds win
you just
12 in
put
a row,
one
I'll,
on there.
I'll do it too.
Deal. They win.
we all
I'll
shave-
do it too.
We're
How
all
about
shaving
this?
our head.
13.
13. If they
13.
13. We
Big
got to get the
disgusting.
13. And we got to set the new. Height of the face, I don't want to break my nose. Don't want to break my nose. Shout out to Sayo for being a good sport. I'm sorry. I still feel bad about that. I still very much feel bad about that. The road to 12 starts now. Am I teetering into being mean when I already passed being mean? Because I feel like I do it in good fun.
I don't
Red
think
stuff.
we care enough about this Reds team anymore for you to be that
Okay.
mean. Like,
Yeah.
it can't hurt anymore.
No, the trolls are funny now.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Yeah, let me zoom in real quick.
All right, we're gonna have this up. It looks like there's an MLB on it. There's chain restaurants. There's history.
This is always my favorite segment because
Television.
Reed can read the words from there, and I can't read them from here.
I can't read.
Wait,
Here we go.
It gets smaller.
Yeah, when they actually ask the question.
All right, here we go.
This is Daily Dozen Trivia. Who we start? We're starting with MLB. Let's get one on the board. Dinger the Triceratops is the mascot for what National League West division? That's going to be the Rockies.
the
I
Rockies.
saw Dinger recently.
Did you?
It's a great mascot, beautiful mascot. We're gonna put it up on the screen. We're gonna have me on the.
Oh, my bad.
You're good.
Oop.
All right, let's go. I'm not good at NBA. Let's do
Chain restaurants.
Chain restaurants. Now discontinued, the loaded grillers were a popular snack option introduced by what fast food chain in 2012? That would be Taco Bell.
That's right.
No
Those were
idea.
$1 when they first opened.
You're correct.
You're a wizard.
Movies.
Movies. Jennifer Lopez, Constant Wu, and Cardi B. That would be the stripper movie. Is that called Strippers? Hustlers.
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 Would have never gotten that one.
Hey, I'm a hefty one.
The
for
hu-
you right now.
No,
I'm assuming-
Hustlers. Yep. Television. Go to TV. Fran Drescher played a fashionista while taking this British American Sheffield family sitcom. I don't know this one. Anyone know this?
Hold on.
Chat.
Oh, that's the nanny. That's the nanny.
Manning.
That's the nanny. She had the really annoying voice.
Yep.
Never even heard of that.
History. Go to history. Recognized as one of the pioneers of the personal computer revolution, this man co-founded Apple with Steve Jobs and Ronald Wayne. That's God. What's the
Auburn guy.
What's the Seth Rogen character from the Steve Jobs movie? Right?
Tim Cook.
What is it? Wozniak? Yeah,
Wozniak.
Wozniak. Yeah,
Hey, did I get one? Give me one.
with an S.
How do you spell it? Anyone know?
It's Steve Wozniak.
Steve. Type in Steve and then W. O.
Oh,
It's
it's no S. Wozniak.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
Look at you. Look at you.
Music. Let's go music. Since
Sure.
2020, this country singer has had top 10 hits, including Fast Car. This is Luke Combs.
Luke Combs.
Yep.
Goat.
Coming to Old Paycor beginning of August.
Really?
NFL.
2 nights.
Oh, I might have to
After
go.
9 seasons in Tampa Bay, Warren Sapp played the final 4 seasons of this NFL career with this AFC franchise from 2004 to 2007. That's the Patriots, correct?
No?
Oh,
Who
no.
did he play for?
I don't know.
Chargers?
I thought Patriots.
I thought it was the Patriots.
Was it the Raiders?
Is it not the Chargers? I thought it was Chargers.
I thought it was.
Well, I'm thinking of the other bigger dude. That's not.
Fetters says Raiders.
It was the Raiders.
Oh,
no, that's
no.
tough.
Where's
All right,
that?
we're not gonna get the
D-line
perfect.
coach for the
NBA.
Colorado Buffalo.
NBA. I mean, there's not a prayer we get this one. Nicknamed Born Ready, this Pacers player blew and
Lance
LeBron's.
Stevenson.
Yeah, that's a Cincinnati
Lance
guy.
Stevenson.
It's a
Born
Cincinnati.
ready.
Born Ready.
I love me some Lance.
You said Lance?
Lance Stevenson. Yep. All right, celebrity mashup.
Oh, jeez.
That is Quentin Tarantino.
Is that Mike?
That's Quentin Tarantino, and who's the face?
Some girl.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Quentin. Just type in Quentin. He'll be the only Quentin up there.
Quentin Tarantino.
Am I not spelling Quentin right?
Q-U-E.
It's not Amelia Clark, is it?
It does look a little like Amelia Clark. Want to
Okay.
put Amelia Clark? That's not her smile, though.
Yeah, it's not.
Anyone got an idea?
Yeah,
They said, I think she is Daenerys. The chick from... Is it? I mean, a lot of people are saying Amelia. Put in Amelia Clark.
that chick
E,
from the
E,
Han
with an
Solo movie.
That's how you remember...
That doesn't help.
Well, that's Amelia Clark.
Oh, is
Well,
it?
it's like, that's how you remember Amelia Clark, though? That's right!
Yes!
Wow.
Hey, yes, double dip. Put in Raiders.
Raiders.
Raiders. Good for us, guys.
Wow. Big time.
That's Amelia Clark. That is crazy that someone was like, the girl from the Han Solo movies, like, that's how I remember Amelia Clark? It's like, she's in the most famous show possibly ever, and she's like the main character that ever... Listen, if you watch the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, you remember Amelia Clark.
Can we do the grid?
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
we can
let's
do the
the
grid, sure. Put it up
We
there.
haven't done these in so long. I haven't done it literally since we did it on the show, whenever that was 10 months ago.
Well, what is it called again?
Immaculate Grid.
Then we can do Wordle next.
Oh my. The Detroit Tigers
go.
are on the grid.
Come on.
Jimmy's got to backpack those three. If you go above 2% on your Tigers, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah,
I don't know. The Steels ones are a little tough.
All right, who we got up here? We got Orioles, Guardians, D-backs, Tigers, 30 stolen bases, 100 RBI season. Do we want to do Tigers 100 RBI season, Cecil Fielder?
Yeah, that's a good one.
He hit 50 home runs. He's got to have 100 RBIs. And that'll be, I feel like people are going to put Miggy or
Right.
Yeah,
or
people
Mags,
definitely-
97%.
or Mags or something like that. Cecil Fielder. Yep.
Isn't that Cecil?
I think they pronounce it. I don't know.
What percent was that?
12%. Not as good as I thought.
Did Paul Goldschmidt go 30-30 one year in Arizona? I think so.
Yeah, I think he did.
Did he go 30-30?
I'm almost positive.
I was going to put the guy that's on. Eric Burns certainly got.
He did.
He got 30.
I'm almost positive Goldschmidt did.
But people will remember that, right?
See, I don't know, because you don't.
Yeah, but it's
Are we doing Paul?
You might be right, though. People might. If
All
we
right,
can think
go
of a
ahead.
better
Go
one.
ahead and put Paulie. Nice. That was a good call. Good call.
great call.
D-backs 100 RBI season. Do we want to do like Luis Gonzalez had 57 home runs one year, but people would remember that. Paul Goldschmidt we've already used. What about a guy like Mark Reynolds, 200 strikeout guy, 40 home run guy, Mark Reynolds?
Yeah,
Put in Mark Reynolds.
they're saying Christian Walker in the chat. No, he didn't get 100, did he?
Mark with a K. Reynolds. Yeah. Mark Reynolds. Yes. All right,
Good one.
Call. It's a good call. Ooh, an Oriole Diamondback. Let's close out that row. An Oriole Diamondback.
Oriole Diamondback.
So Jake Arrieta did not play for the Diamondbacks. I'm thinking of Cubs players here. Pedro Strop did not play for the Diamondbacks. Did Melvin Mora ever play for the? What about like a Jay Gibbons? I'm thinking of like mid 2000s.
See, at this point, you're saying names that I'm just not going to be helpful with.
Ced Mullins? Did he's talking Ced Mullins for. Cedric Mullins never played for the Diamondbacks.
He's only played for the
Yeah.
Orioles. Did your boy ever make it over the Diamondbacks after the Orioles?
Who?
Sionel?
That's what I was gonna say, but I don't know. I thought CNL might have.
thought he did.
CNL might have been mine, but I don't know.
Do you got any Tigers for us?
Yeah.
Tiger Oriole?
Tiger Oriole, Jose Iglesias.
Jose Iglesias.
And red.
Nice. Yeah.
And then for stolen bases, Cleveland, also former Tiger, you could go Rajay Davis.
I had Bobby Bonds.
Jose Iglesias. This is right?
Yes,
2011.
that's right. That's right.
And then what did he say?
Rajay Davis for Steelers, Cleveland.
Do you know anything about
Rajay Davis?
No,
Remember
not-
Rajay Davis? Rajay Davis?
Not that
Yes.
one, not that one, not that one.
Cleveland.
top
Cleveland,
middle.
30
I'm sorry.
steals.
I'm sorry.
Raji would work for Orioles, too. Orioles.
Bobby Bonds, 30 steals with the Indians as well.
Really?
Bobby Bonds had 30 steals with the Indians?
I just know because he's on the 30 graphic with Barry, and he's in an Indians jersey.
That's right. Rajay Davis.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Barry, Hall of Famer now. Pirates Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Big for him. Big for baseball.
Who's a random Guardian that had 100 RBIs? Just as random as it gets. What about a
Kick
guy
myself
like
about
Did Bruce get it?
Jay Bruce? No. What about a guy like
100 RBIs is a lot.
did Ellis Burks get it? No, he didn't get it.
What about
those those late 90s Indians that were really good? Like Manny Ramirez, Jim Tomei, and Albert Bell would all fit that bill, but they might be too. Did Grady Sizemore get 100 ribbies?
I don't know. I was thinking him too, but I'm not sure.
No way, right? What about a guy like what if we just make it nice and easy on us and we just say Travis Hafner?
You think
Put in
Hafner got it?
Travis Hafner, Guardians, 100 RBIs. Top guy. Yep. Hafner.
Wait, you said
Travis Hafner.
Yeah, you said
100
Guardians.
RBIs. Yep. 100 RBIs.
Mike Napoli.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. We're going to need the chat for these last ones. Did David Bell play for 2 of these teams?
David Bell.
D-backs. I'm thinking of now famous D-backs.
Guardians. No, didn't play.
Tigers one, the stolen bases one is hard.
Did Jan Gomes get to the Orioles?
Jan Gomes get to the Orioles? That I do not know. We gotta wrap this up. See, this is where it gets a little.
Yeah,
This is where it gets a lot of dead space here. I'm flirting with a couple of different names.
Ty Cobb ever steal 30 bases?
Ty Cobb certainly stole 30 bases. Yeah. Put in Ty Cobb. Tigers 30 plus stolen bases. Ty Ty Cobb
COBB.
Just Ty Cobb.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for this?
You got one?
One of my favorite second basemen that randomly had a power season. D-backs, Orioles. Kelly Johnson?
Kelly?
Wow.
Wow.
That's big time. All right, I think you're going to have to bring us home here.
I mean, there's got to be some relief pitcher. Ooh, should we do the one that fits like every single team?
Edwin?
I don't know if he fits every single. I don't know if he fits. Edwin actually does fit these teams. Edwin Jackson. Octavio Dotel.
Yeah.
Played for 16 teams. I don't know if he played. We could just put in Edwin Jackson because Edwin Jackson fits.
Oh,
He doesn't fit.
Oh.
He doesn't play. He didn't play for Cleveland, I'm guessing.
Did Dotel? Octavio Dotel. All right, well, we went over.
Oh, RM said the name and we didn't see it.
What do you say? Oh, Robbie Alomar?
Oh,
Roberto Alomar, Hall of Famer? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Let us down.
All right. Well, we'll get it right next time we do this. All right, that wraps up Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. We'll see you guys tomorrow. For the members, stay tuned because we're gonna go with box lunch starting right now. See you guys. Boo.